It's a 4. It's a 5. And now it's going to be a 6.
Hey!
Now it's going to be a 1.
Hey!
Now it's going to be a 2. No.
Nah.
Imagine
Bro,
that.
you're fooling me right now. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, it's a magic trick, dude. Reverse magic. Right, what's the haps?
So, my guy, for everyone that doesn't know you,
Yep.
because let's be honest, no one knows me either, but we have no listeners, so we can say whatever the hell we want. No one's ever going to hear this. It's great.
Cool. Nice. Just us.
Yeah, bro. There's no one
This
ever.
one time and the cringe time that we rewatch it.
Yeah, but like, yeah, so basically have 3 views.
Mhm.
1 Amy, 1 me, and 1 you.
Nice.
And then it'll be, yeah. So we've been friends for a long ass time, man.
Mm.
How long has it been?
Man, it's probably coming up to 13, 14 years, I think.
Yeah, sounds about
Roughly,
right.
yeah.
Crazy.
I think I was 12-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, we were inseparable, bro. We were inseparable. And then you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to leave. And then now it's like,
And now I'm back.
now you're back.
Yeah.
But you're going to leave again.
Yeah, I know.
All right. What's funny, though, is that you said, you were like, oh, make sure the podcast is finished by the time I leave.
Yeah.
So I could have an episode. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, sweet. I'll get you on. And it took us 4 extra months. By the time you went away and came back, and now we're finally having this episode. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to, glad to finally do this. So let's
man.
celebrate, bro. Let's celebrate.
Let's do
Let's
it.
get this shit going. So
Bit of congratulations is in order, I think.
100%. We haven't achieved anything. This could be the worst podcast episode in history, but we're
Oh,
gonna
I don't know,
celebrate.
man.
We're gonna celebrate nonetheless.
Indeed.
All
We're
right.
going to celebrate with the first Eduard Todor podcast.
Hell yeah. I've already thought about it.
Yeah.
We're going to categorize this podcast as a comedy podcast. Not for the fact that I think I'm funny or
Yeah.
that I ever will be funny.
You just think the stuff
if-
that I'm going to say is going to be funny.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. But also, if in the future they decide to cancel, Pickle Rick because it's offensive to pickles or some shit, you know what I mean? Then I can just say, nah, it was a comedy pod,
It was a joke.
It's 100%,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my use of scrub, doesn't have anything to do with how it's offensive to scrubs, It's just a joke.
Of multiple types of
Yeah,
scrubs.
yeah, exactly. So,
Well, cheers, my guy,
cheers.
to a bright future for the Eduard Todor podcast.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Now, it's showbiz, baby, so this is actually water. Jesus. But
Yep.
we'll pretend it's like some strong alcohol.
100%.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get the other drinks going as well.
Sure. Man.
So tell me about UK, man. What's your so basically, right? Just for a bit of context, right?
Sure.
You were born in Ukraine.
Yep.
Came here when you in New Zealand when you were what, 2 years old,
2, yeah.
and then lived here your whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and then now you went to UK for work, right?
Yep.
Doing like organizational stuff, whatever, right?
Left.
At the end of the day, you're doing good in the world, and I'm just shuffling cards. That's at the end. That's what's the situation, right?
Mhm.
But the point is, I grew up in like Romania and shit,
Mm.
so I sort of have a feel for that European side of things. It's Eastern
Mhm.
Europe, but
Mhm.
whereas I feel like you probably maybe would have had more of a culture shock going. You've been to what's not Prague,
Poland.
and shit. How's UK? Because I've never been.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, so obviously the UK is like a lot older, right? It's like got more history there compared to New Zealand. But a lot of it is kind of similar in many ways.
Well, we do all serve the Queen.
Yep.
Right. All
Yeah.
glory to the Queen. May she
Indeed.
live till 450.
350?
Yeah,
350?
I mean, whatever, dude. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't really have much culture shock, actually.
Really?
Yeah, going there.
I guess they speak the same language,
Yeah. And I mean, so I'm in Oxford, right? Which is like certain part of the UK, which is like, I don't know, I guess kind of prominent or something, for like academic stuff. But yeah, so like the buildings there are like very old. There's like lots of really nice architecture. The universities are really nice to explore, but yeah, otherwise there's like different, items like the food that you buy and like all the brands and stuff are different, but otherwise in general it's quite the same. It's all English.
How's the energy drinks?
Oh yeah.
Because you're the biggest fucking energy drink connoisseur. I'm surprised you didn't rock up with like 3 different types of fucking Monster.
Oh,
bro, I haven't tried these before.
Mate, I got 2 pieces of baggage in my for the airline, One is my checked baggage for all my stuff. The other one is just full of new energy drinks that New Zealand has never seen.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay. I wouldn't put it past you. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fucking, bro. Like, that's the most fucking Ivan thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to call you Ivan or Vanya because we grew up calling you Vanya.
Right.
And at some point, you decided to go Ivan, which is which one's actually like the English version and which is the non-version?
Well, so it's kind of like Robert and Bob or like
right.
William and Bill or something. So, so like Vanya is like the informal name that you get called when you grow up. And
like
Ivan is like the official legal name. And so the key moments I remember about this is like in school, right? Where like Vanya used to be fine and it was like on the roll and stuff. And then when I got to college or like secondary school, we like started using Ivan on the roll because I needed to get used to it for uni and stuff. Right, and I remember like moments where the teacher would call out Ivan and they'll be like, yeah, and people in class would be like, who?
Right. Bro, I mean, when your girl came over, like we played D&D yesterday.
Yeah.
And like, I was legit like I would say, oh, Vanya's this, blah, blah. I'm like, wait, does she even know?
Yeah.
Like, did you tell her about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially last night at the get together.
Is this Vanya that we keep talking about? You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But that was a fucking solid D&D session.
That was good. Woo. That was so good.
My favorite one so far.
Real.
Oh,
yeah.
That was fucking sick.
We had a lot of good action.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like, Ralton's roleplay there at the end. Like, oh, it's so hard, like, squaring the, like, in character and the out of character, like...
All right, so here's the thing,
tension,
right? Here's the thing, right? You get, like... And for people that don't play D&D, right? It's like, you're kind of making a story, but you're playing your character, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing whatever... You write a character, and you have to play as the character. So it's not, like, your personal... What you would do, it's what the character would do. So if you're playing an evil character, he would do evil shit. If you're, whatever the fuck. Ralton is one of our mates' character. He's a sneaky little lawyer con man.
Yep.
And decided to sneak ahead of the whole party and just like kind of like sneak past all the skeletons and shit.
Yeah.
And get to the end and find the crown, put it on, and the DM was like, oh yeah, this is what it does, and no one else knows what it does. So now we're just like,
oh really? Did he tell him? I thought.
Yeah. He sent him a Facebook message. So we're just like,
oh,
is he just gonna like summon the power of Thanos and just fucking kill us all in the next, like, you know what I mean? We don't know
half of us at least.
Yeah, and then so we're all suspicious, like what's going on? Why what's going on with the crown? And he goes, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal, right? The DM is like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to roll for that because you're trying to deceive them. And he rolls a 20, which is the maximum amount you can roll.
Yep.
And so we just have to believe him now.
Yep.
That's so fucking annoying, bro.
Oh. And he's like, yeah, and then he pulled it off. He's like, oh no, I was just going ahead because I want to like scout it out and like.
Bro, that's the one time you like
back,
the one time in like role play, because like you can sometimes you roll for like role play purposes. Sometimes you roll for battles, right? And usually like if you roll a good number in role play, it doesn't really matter. Like, it might not be that important. But if it's in battle, it's like it's crucial because you might die. That's the one time that was crucial for him to roll good, and he rolled a 20, which is the max. It's like
it's squaring this like in character and out of character tension, right? Where you have to go with what the character's experiencing, right? It reminds me a little bit of like my character and his like we had a solo session with Kelly, and
which was a similar thing where we're like, what the fuck happened in that solo session that we don't know about?
And it keeps coming up,
tell us
right?
either,
It keeps coming up. And so it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, and I'm like, oh, I see what it's like now on the other side,
Yeah.
We don't have all the info.
Honestly, like that hit me harder. So the fact that you left, and I was like, oh, we got to play D&D now. And like all these characters, like, one other character had to go to Wellington, like Mark's character.
Yep.
Oh no, his character's not going. He's going.
Yeah.
Because he's got a job there now. So it's like our whole crew's splitting apart. And and it's like, fuck, man, like this has been going on for 3+ years.
Yeah.
This campaign, we've been building the story, and now all the characters have to leave.
Yeah.
And it's like I actually got hit in the feels like more like because I was like I didn't realize that it's almost like we still talk, we'll still message each other and shit. So it's like I still feel like I'm kind of interacting with you at least.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we like couldn't play with your characters hit me in the feels. I was like, man, what the fuck, like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I'm trying to say I missed you, bro. I missed you.
I missed you too, man.
And I'm not even drunk enough to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. No, it's been a wild ride. It's crazy as well how it's only been 4 months. Like I did not expect to be back here so soon.
Neither.
But
it's a good surprise.
yeah, it's good that I'm here, and it's been cool to see everyone again and like get a bit of an update. See this new table that you built yourself. Like this whole like get up is just next level, man.
We out
really
here, baby.
Well done.
We out here.
Those are all the dice that you forgot to bring yesterday?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah,
Love
man.
it.
I mean, like, yeah, it definitely took longer than expected to build this place. It just so many things you don't think about. Like we put the shelves in, and it was like there was just no depth to them.
Right.
So then I had to like put the lights in, which took way longer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just everything takes long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every little step.
But let's talk a bit of magic. So you were part of the original The Something Magic crew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the original, but like you were involved in it recently.
Mm-hmm.
So the Something Magic is this thing that we're doing in the local scene, trying to build up a magic sort of initiative, because New Zealand magic scene, frankly, sucks. Let's be real about that. Okay, like unless you're a kids magician, which I have no qualms with, but it's not my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a kids magician, there's really nothing for you here. There's
and there's a really good opportunity to build it here, right?
Yeah, there's like 2 guys doing it full time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like that don't do kids magic. So it's sort of like, yeah. And so the idea was like, we'll make it was Dev Sherman's idea. Dev Sherman.
Mm-hmm. He like ran 2, right? And then we were doing the 3rd one?
Yeah.
Supposed to be 3rd time lucky, but not for me.
Yeah. You had to leave right before it happened.
Yeah.
It was delayed by
basically COVID, and delayed. And then happened the week before I got back.
Yeah. But Dev Sherman, for people watching, you might be familiar with some magic stuff. He wasn't fool us. Look up his episode. It was pretty good. Didn't fool them, but, he had a hell of a ride. I mean, shit, you get to go to Vegas and perform for Penn and Teller. Fuck, bro, that's you.
Yeah, do they screw, like, do you, like, send in a submission and then they like, fly you out to do it?
They have scouts.
Right.
So they...
oh, really? So you got scouted?
So they have, like, these sort of, like, events where they'll send a scout to, like, Aussie, a scout to Europe, whatever. And it's like, okay, it's for Fool Us for this next season. Come and, like, audition.
Oh, right.
And so then you go in and you perform.
Yeah.
And then they video it and they might call you back or they might not, or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, I think I want him to tell the story himself, but actually, by this point, he would have told the story.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the second episode. But anyway, I think he said it was something like 170 people or some shit. That were
wow.
Like, so he was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then he gets an email back. So
wow.
Yeah. But
was the only one, like he was the only one out of the selection, or?
Maybe out of the Aussie selection, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's not that many performers per season, like relatively, right? So
wow.
Anyway, so he's like doing this initiative, and I try to support it as much as I can. I'm just not good with organizing shit. And committing to things is fucking hard for me because I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. So maybe I want to do it, maybe I don't. But yeah, point is, you are part of the organizational aspect of it, and you have and you were going to be part of this whole new thing. It was like a open mic for magic, but well rehearsed, and you didn't get to see any of it. So I want to show you what I did for my bit.
Nice.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm excited. I always love seeing your new tricks. So I guess for context for people watching, I got into magic like around the same time as Ed, because of Ed, and then was into it for a little bit and dabbled a little bit in the magical arts.
You were pretty deep into it for like maybe like a year or two, maybe.
Yeah.
And
then kind of phased out of it, doing other stuff.
But
I so I know how to like figure out tricks or can like spot flashes and the rest of it. But like now,
don't I know that well?
yeah,
Yeah, fuck me.
yeah. But yeah, I've gotten to this point where like I don't want to know. Like, you know, the average person like sees a magic trick and like, I want to know how that works, and I'm like, nah. Like, I'm gonna enjoy not knowing how this works. Like, this has fooled me, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
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 So I'm excited to see what's in store.
Right. So okay. So here's what it is. Right. So
We got to die.
yes. So for
Is it weighted?
you can take a look at it. For as long as die gambling has been a thing,
Mm-hmm.
people have tried to cheat with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people have realized that you can manipulate die rolls. You can there's a lot of techniques for. Usually they in casinos they'll bounce it off a wall,
Oh, right.
and so you have to bounce it off the wall at least once, and then so
Or it could be like
there's
legitimate. or
legit. But
something,
even then, there's people that can do stuff with with the rolls and
Mhm.
manipulate them. So what they introduce is a barrier, like a physical barrier,
Mhm.
aka a dice cup, right? And the idea is that now if the die is in the cup, there's no human contact before you get to reveal the number, right?
You gotcha. Yeah.
Right. So it basically makes it much harder to cheat. So just check those out. Make sure they're legit.
So legit.
Happy?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's a 4. It's a 5. And now it's gonna be a 6. Oi! Now it's gonna be a 1. Oi! Now it's gonna be a 2. No.
Nah.
Imagine
Bro,
that.
you're fooling me right now. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, it's a magic trick, dude. Reverse magic.
All right, so the idea
Damn,
is
what are the chances of that?
the
Gotta
idea
calculate
is-
that after
yeah,
the
yeah,
podcast.
so
Yeah.
yeah, you and your math and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is stealing dice, right, is much easier in my opinion than
6 to the power of 4. I think I got 4 in a row.
I became a magician, so I don't have to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is stealing it out is harder, in my opinion, than putting it back in secretly. Because people have been stealing dice for generations, right? Well, not dice, but stealing in general, right? But how many people do you know that put money in people's pockets secretly? That doesn't really happen, right? So the idea is that to cheat with this sort of barrier, you first have to steal the die out, right? So you steal it out. And then you'd have to secretly place it back in after you've switched it or after you've manipulated it in some way. Okay, so this is the game we're going to play. I'm going to try to sneak this die underneath the cup, and you have to try to catch me do it.
Okay.
That's the game, right?
Oh, cool. I like this game.
Right, so this is kind of how we practice cheating.
So how do I
with
catch
dice.
you?
Well,
Just
okay, so
call you up.
I'm going to try to do it. You
Okay,
ready?
okay,
All
all
right, so my hands are cold.
Gotta warm up. Gotta do
Yes.
some thingy exercises.
Dan and Dave.
Dan and Dave, twin brother.
Oh yeah, man. If you guys don't know that reference, look up Dan and Dave in Macau. It's a very shitty video. I'm not even going to overlay it. You have to find it. This is like your homework, you know. But it's
Easter egg.
It's amazing. All right, so you ready?
Yeah. Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Okay, that's not gonna work. All right,
I was gonna be like, cool, yeah.
we'll make the game a bit harder, right? So the die question is the die in my pocket, right, or is it underneath the cup? That's the question. That's the game. what would you-
Underneath the cup.
You think so?
No, I think I know where it is.
Where?
In your hand.
No, it's under the cup.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
all right, we'll play again. All right, so this is what it looks like, right? So, you can see the die in the cup, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you can hear it in the cup.
yeah,
Okay, I steal it from the cup, right?
yeah,
Steal it.
yeah.
Question is, okay,
Yeah.
is it in my pocket, or is it underneath the cup?
It's underneath the
Pocket
cup.
or cup?
It's underneath the cup.
No. Okay.
What?
You want to try again? All right, it's 50-50 chance, right? What do you think? Pocket or cup?
I bet whichever one I choose, I'm gonna be wrong.
Maybe or maybe not. Who knows?
Okay, let's go pocket.
Okay, you are wrong. All right. Okay. The problem with this game, though, I'll tell you what the problem is, right?
Hacks.
You sort of start to realize the game. Like,
Okay.
it's simple, right? I put it in the pocket,
Yeah.
and, there's only one really place it can be, right? So it's either in my pocket or it's in the cup, and it always ends up back in the cup, right? So you know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But at this point, people start to have theories, right? They think, okay, maybe I am putting it in my pocket. But you can raise your hand to indicate, right? Do you think I'm using more than one die?
I have considered that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll say this right now. You're not wrong.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The problem is the second die is a bit bigger than the first.
What?
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, see, like, the third die is so big that they don't actually both fit back in the cup.
Nice.
So,
very well done.
Yeah. So that's
the trick. I think I know how some of this is done.
Yeah.
And which I won't talk about now.
Yeah.
But I am still confused by a couple of the parts, which I am very confused by.
Yep.
Pretty much. Okay. Nice. This is very good. Well, I am going to enjoy my fullness and never know how this trick works.
Yeah, cool.
Until maybe I see it a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's really cool. I like that.
And what you will appreciate about it is that it's not using cards.
True. Yeah, most of your stuff is card stuff.
This fucking terrifies me.
Yeah.
I will say this right now.
Yeah.
Because with cards, if I fuck up, I have like 3 million ways to get out of it.
Right.
With this, if I fuck up, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's hard to, less forgiving.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that I'm also less skilled.
Yeah, sure.
With this,
sure.
with this medium of, so I was freaking out. I'm not going to lie. And what I'm really happy with is that this part in the show was like my cleanest part.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Did you do like a mix of like card and dice?
Yeah. So I did.
Did you do like coin stuff?
No. So what I did is, okay, I'll tell you what I did. So this might come out in footage, maybe some of it, because some of it was bad.
Oh, you guys filmed it?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
But it's like it was filmed for the screen, so that the angles aren't exactly. But it's fine, whatever. What we did, what I did is I came out with the wine production that I've shown you on video a bunch of times.
Oh yeah,
I did that.
Nice. That one's super good, man.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
And then I also produced a full bottle afterwards.
Yeah, right.
So I think you've seen the bottle at the end as well. But I sort of, there was an added point to it. So point is, I came out, I made a full wine glass with wine in it, drank that. I was like, the only reason I said yes to this gig is so I can get drunk at work. Boom, downed it, put it down, produced a full bottle of wine, poured some more, downed that, right? Yeah. And I will full disclosure, the first wine glass was not wine. It was grape juice. Yeah. The second one was. Yeah. And even that one after fucked me up. Like even just having one fucked me up. Yeah. And I was like low-key panicking.
Oh,
but anyway.
No, yeah. Like you just got non-alcoholic wine.
Yeah, but like I kind of wanted to do it like to be like, haha, I fucking drank wine on stage. Yeah, you know what I mean? That was part of the
fair enough. The novelty and the
it was part of like how I got away with it, you know, anyway, then I did this. And then I did you are part of the story, which I didn't actually mention your name, but you are actually part of the story.
Oh, okay, cool.
Do you remember when we were in countdown, Sanuk countdown, right?
Yeah.
And we were playing with cards.
Yeah.
And this little fucking piece of shit, right? Yeah. On a scooter. He's probably like 8 or 9 years old. We were like 13, 14, something like that. Starts scooting around our table and does like 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps. And we just sort of stop and we go, what the fuck's this guy doing, right? He's just like only around our table. And then he stops and looks at us and he goes, what are you looking at? Yeah. You remember this?
Yeah, I think I remember this. Yeah.
I told that story on stage and I did a card trick to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it was like a...
Nice.
So for people that don't know, what ended up happening is, well, of course no one knows except that people that was at the show. Yeah. So what happened was, how much do you remember actually? You go. You go.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot. I think my memory of it is you did something, like you did like a trick or something to him.
Okay. You remember a lot less.
Okay, yeah.
So he leaves.
Yeah. And he brings back the whole gang of peeps.
He brings back one of the guys that went to my school,
Yeah.
his name was Michael Telefoni.
Yeah.
Like rugby player, rat's tail, scucks haircut,
Yeah.
the whole deal. All right. So it was like 2 scrawny white kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like 3 massive fucking Polynesian guys
Yeah.
that came back. Like, oh, bro, I heard you're messing with my cousin.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, like, can we run away? Like,
Yeah.
I doubt it, because he could just do one of those, you know, like the fucking when they boost on the rugby pitch, and they just like, and they just like get extra speed somehow.
Yeah. Activate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just the NOS canister
Yeah.
in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, and then I ended up doing card tricks for them, and they were like,
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
a Siggy and all this stuff, right?
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. So,
It's a good defense mechanism, you know?
I mean, I was.
Hey man, I don't want to start a fight. I just want to show you a card trick.
Yeah,
You, know? You like card tricks? Yeah.
Yeah. I had like a full. To be honest, like, you know, I don't remember exactly the tricks I did. I can probably guess, but the stuff that I did a.
It's probably an ambitious.
I
card,
built
surely.
it, yeah, but I built it into like I found the 4 aces.
Oh yeah.
And at the very end, the kid takes the pack and shuffles face up, face down.
Yeah.
So he would be like, right, well, let's just, yeah. So he at the end he goes like, let's say that's the ace I'm trying to find, which is not. Let's just look for an ace. Why not? Okay, so in the end, after I find the 3 aces, the little kid's still not happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like what I built into the story, and he goes, nah, I'm not happy with that. I want to shuffle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he starts mixing face up, face down, face up, face down, face up, face down, right? Just absolutely mixing up the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Face up, face down. So now we're like, it's fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he takes the ace that he wanted me to find and just shoves it in,
Mm-hmm.
just like randomly, right? And he goes, find it then, right? And so I go, really? Okay. And just like that, every single card is facing the right way except
What?
for that ace.
What?
So yeah, that's how I finished the.
I was totally expecting something else.
Is that on camera? Can you see this card? Yeah, sweet, yeah, cool.
I was so expecting something else to go down right here. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is the classic. Like I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
What?
So
Okay.
I finished with that. And that,
Nice.
like after finding 3 cards, 3 aces, and the 4th one was this.
Yeah.
And actually, technically, it was slightly different. But yeah, anyway, point is, I sort of added some things to it, to the story. But I told that story on stage, and people seem to love it. So
Yeah, man. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great trick.
yeah. So
Very fooled.
now you know how that went. The
Nice.
event you tried to plan and didn't end up seeing, sadly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the rundown.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah. I'm glad it went well. You know, I'm looking forward to some more TSMs in the future. Hopefully
What's
I'll be
TSM?
there's something magic.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's why.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
Acronyms, man. It's my jam. I'll put anything into an acronym. WYSIWYG.
What the fuck is that?
What you see is what you get. This is a classic acronym. You don't know
Bro,
WYSIWYG,
you're
bro.
actually you've become more fucked as
Dude, this is literally
over the time I haven't seen you.
WYSIWYG is a classic. I learned this in like year 10, DGT class. It's like with screen displaying what year. Anyway, long story short, I like acronyms. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be more the something magics. Hopefully, I'll get to make it to one of them in the future, or maybe, you know, they'll end up happening outside New Zealand at some point. You know?
Could do.
Never know.
I mean, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of trying to build a scene in New Zealand.
Well, you
but
build the scene, you know, and then
if the scene gets so big that it's overflowing.
yeah, you start touring, man. You start touring. You got to plan. What's the 2-5-year plan? You know.
Yeah, I've actually thought about this. Like, we could, if we did enough, let's say we did 10 something magics, because the whole idea is that you build a whole new routine. It's experimental,
Every time.
and like, for example, the next one I want to do, I want to do a full mentalism routine,
Oh, whoa.
right?
Okay.
Just mentalism.
Yeah.
So
Trippy.
I just want to like just try shit, you know, because it's
Experiment with
I'm not
different
getting.
things.
I mean, like we're getting paid, but it's not a gig, you know. It's not like a corporate where you have to like, it's like, oh, someone's paying me like $1,000, like I need to fucking bring my A game, you know. Like this is just like people buying tickets and whatever. But they know what they're coming to.
Yeah.
So it's like it gives us a lot of space to explore. So
And practice and polish.
yeah. So over like 10 to something magics, we would have built some cool shit.
Mhm.
Some of it could have, probably wasn't good, or like, wouldn't work
Mhm.
well. But if we just like curate out of those routines that we did for the Something Magic, do the strongest material, put it all into one show.
Yeah. 100%.
Right?
100%.
Right? Now we got a fucking, like hour and a half,
Mhm.
fucking legit tight, like, so now we could do something.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. Put together a show.
Yeah.
3 magicians or however many it will be.
Yeah. We usually do 4, but
Right. Okay.
yeah, 20 minutes each-ish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Start here. I mean, like, Oz would be like the next obvious place, right?
Yeah.
Or something. But
I hear
Yeah.
it's very difficult to like do like just visas and shit to do America and stuff.
well, Australia. Oh well, if you're a New Zealand citizen, then it's not.
Aussie, it's fine, but
it's not
America,
hard. Yeah. America, I don't know.
because I know
Working visas, I think. In
some
America
people that
are
I know that
difficult,
I've worked over there.
Yeah.
Went on a tourist visa and just sort of did some under the table bullshit. Which I'm not gonna name, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's very easy to do it in America.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like
Which is weird because it's
could
like
work out.
it's like the whole society's collapsing. Like, I mean, let's be honest, what the fuck's going on over there, bro?
Just America though, more like
I mean,
multiple places. But yeah.
yeah, but like you hear about the whole fucking, like I just talked to someone that came back from LA. And I was like, oh, bro, is it trash? He's
Yeah.
like, no, bro, it's mean. I'm like, oh, how's the homeless? He's like, yeah, a lot of homeless.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
you
no,
could
it's great.
Yeah,
Apart from them.
yeah, apart from like the fucking
all the problems.
3 blocks of
If you
like
ignore all of the problems, it's fine.
lawlessness. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So, as much as I hate the fucking fuel prices out here and the how expensive food is, bro. Oh my God, bro. It costs an arm and a leg just to eat out here.
Dude, fuel here is cheaper than in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I have no idea how.
Probably get it through China or something.
I don't know. Yeah. It's like, made in China petrol.
I mean, I don't know.
But-
We just have different connections.
And like, I guess New Zealand's like, I don't know, there's lots of like ship. movement
But
or something.
surely food is more expensive here.
It's about the same.
Really?
Actually, yeah. It's about the same.
Okay, maybe cost of living or maybe like rent or something.
Yeah, I like looked at it, and this is before I moved, and the cost of living in Oxford is just like is slightly lower than here.
Mm.
Like very slightly. It was like 5% or something, and then London was higher
Mm.
than Auckland.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
yeah.
But I was also looking at, because I mean, like, fuck it, bro. Like, London's like, money capital.
It's also massive.
Auckland is like nothing.
Yeah.
It's cool beaches. That's about the appeal of Auckland and jobs,
Mhm.
But yeah, I was looking at this statistic about like I can't remember. They kind of ranked basically locations that were due for an overcorrection in real estate, like in property value. So basically, where is it going to crash? And they were looking at like cost of living, like relative to price of rent, price of property, whatever, like just all the factors. And Auckland was ranked, I think it was New Zealand or Auckland, I can't remember. It was ranked number 1 on the list of all the fucking, it was like, I don't know how many, 50 different places.
So what does that mean?
Point is, the houses are going to crash.
Right.
That's the idea, right?
Right.
I mean, there's already started. Apparently, there's like, mum was looking at houses, and there's some that are selling like $400K under readable value.
Wow.
You know, like this is unprecedented because everything's been climbing for so long.
Yeah.
So
crazy. Yeah, I mean, like last year. Was last year? Yeah. So last year when we sold the house, it was wild because we sold it at a low, and then prices started hiking as soon as we sold. And then trying to buy a new house. Yeah, I know. You can't predict it really, but yeah. So it's interesting that it's like gonna go down again because it was going up for a bit.
Your mum owns the house now, right?
Yeah,
like,
we do.
It's not like any debt.
No, we do because the price is hiked, so we couldn't buy an equivalently good house or whatever.
But is it too lot or not much?
It's not huge.
Right.
I mean, and like now my sister and I are contributing as well.
Right.
So
okay, because if the houses crash, at least you own most of it.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like
Yeah. Real estate's good.
Yeah.
Investment that
I
way.
mean, like you can use it at least.
Yeah.
Like a share in McDonald's, like
Yeah.
it's just gonna sit there.
I ain't gonna get any fries for that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I would like fries with that, but I can't get them.
You might be able to go through the drive-through like, I own 0.0001% of your company, so please extra fries with that. But maybe someone will.
Look, you're like, extra chip.
Yeah, just like a piece of like a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. But yeah, so the other thing I was thinking about, magic wise, and then we can move on to more as the drinks go lower, we'll move on to deeper and deeper concepts. But this is something that you might like enjoy, because as you know, I know you're like into magic and shit.
Sure.
And someone that's not into magic might also find this interesting. So I built this table.
Yes, I love the table, dude. It's
nice.
So lit.
It's nice. Yeah.
It's like sitting at it and like this feels like something that you buy as a magician, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, just got one off the market. It was like $3,000.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
You know, like inside lighting, cup holders, like all this.
I'm pretty glad I made it instead of bought it, because I made it how I wanted it.
Yeah.
And like this space here was purposefully done, and you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
everything's intentional.
Exactly. Yeah. I know exactly what I want. The only thing is I didn't build enough cushion into this part. So some magicians will actually, I think, because they're used to close-up pads, I've been practicing on it. So I know ways to make it usable. For example, I could do a what's it called? The pole spread, to carve the cards in a certain way so that I can grab them off the table,
right,
and be able to do moves. But a lot of magicians are used to like very bouncy close-up pads, and so they might actually struggle when they're performing.
Right.
We're gonna see. I think I'm gonna tell them to bring their own close-up pad if they're
performing. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and just put it down. But I've been getting used to it because it's quite more solid. But what I've realized is cards actually have a kind of memory. Like you could hand me a pack of cards from some magician, and I could sort of tell you what style of or like what sort of stuff they do with that pack.
No way.
Honestly.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Because I realized like when we started magic, we grew up on Dan and Dave, which is very niche actually. It's not very common.
Right.
Like there's a lot of cardistry people, and they just do cardistry, and that's fine. But to be magicians that started on Dan and Dave, like I've been thinking about it, it's probably the worst place to start.
Really?
Because it's just like it's card tricks that are like super difficult, and they're not necessarily much better than you know what I mean? Like this,
right.
way better than a simpler trick.
Sure. Difficulty for effect value.
What I just fooled you with, the card trick I fooled you with, was pretty. I could teach you in 30 seconds. It's pretty simple. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So, but it's like the performance and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There's obviously hard, like that was a much more hard trick. It took me months to get the sleight of hand for that. But like the point is, the Dan and Dave stuff wasn't necessarily the best place to start. But it was fun to do, and it was fun to practice. It was fun to challenge each other and be like, oh, I can do this one now.
Yeah, I still remember when we were learning two-card Monty. And, Deja Vu.
Deja Vu.
Yeah.
But see, two-card Monty is like, okay, simple.
Yeah, right.
More or less.
Yeah.
Deja Vu is like it's like obscure and weird, and
I remember when I didn't do it for a month, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I forgot how to do this. What is it? What even is this trick?
Yeah. So, the other thing is this is semi like waterproof, which is nice.
Nice.
Like it doesn't seep through.
Oh,
That's another story. Anyway, the point is the whole like idea of Dan and Dave stuff, they were doing like kind of stand-up magic. Like you'd stand up and hold the cards. There was never like there was like maybe like a little section in maybe the last DVD.
I remember
the trilogy.
Deja Vu was a table, like you'd at least put the cards on the table or something.
Yeah, but they had some cuts. I can't remember them. But they had one section with like table cuts, and we were always like, we don't really have tables, so there's no point.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because it would always be on the go.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, so that's kind of like where we came from. And like the way that you'd use a deck, you'd do pressure fans. You would do, obviously, like, you know, this sort of stuff. You might do a truffle shuffle, which is like a way to retain cards as you're shuffling in a stand-up fashion, right? You might do the pole spreads, right? So these all bend. That was a terrible one, but besides the point. These all bend the cards in very specific ways.
Right, yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
And so if you hand me the deck from someone that does those things, it's like, okay, even if they've because you can reset cards. That's what people don't understand. like you can, like I can spring one way, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't really alter it doesn't bend the cards. They sort of retain their shape. But if you spring them enough in the same direction,
Sure. Yeah.
they're going to start to curve, right?
Yep.
But then what I can do is I can reset them. I can turn the deck around and then do it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you reset them though, the fact that you've been springing the cards sort of creates this like softness to the cards in that direction.
Right. Yep.
So the point is, even if you've reset them, I could take the deck and go, okay, it's pretty soft this way. Either they've been springing. It's pretty soft this way. They probably leave pole spread. It's pretty soft that other way. It's you know what I mean? Like you could sort of figure out like you probably do these moves.
Sure.
Right. Then I went to table magic, and what I didn't realize back in the day, I used to see people like do like gambling demos where they would do like, let's say, a second deal, right?
Yep.
So the 10 of spades, and then you can deal cards off the second of the second card off the top and retain that.
Mm-hmm.
So even as you're counting cards down or dealing to people, you retain the card that's on top, right?
Nice.
And those people that would like these gambling demos did like bottom deals, Greek deals, all sorts of fucking crazy like stuff. Their decks would be like really like this. Like, I don't know, like they had this bend to it. I'm like,
gotcha.
Gross. They're not resetting their cards. That's disgusting. Like I used to be like very like against that. Just because it looked like they were rolling their cards. But now that I'm using a table, I realize that like I need that.
Right.
Because the table's not very soft. It's not bouncy.
Yeah. So you need the curvature to
be able to grab
pick
the
it up and
cards.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I've become that guy where it's like my cards are often very like curved.
Right.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting concept that I've like came across just by building this table and practicing on it. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Only 10 years too late. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like you were using heaps of table stuff before, right? So I guess this is the perfect time to realize it is
true.
at the beginning of when you're going to be doing table
True.
stuff. So yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's all I had. I was thinking about that for a while, and I was like, this could be interesting.
Cards and memory. There you go.
Sort of like a memory, pseudo.
So like I imagine it's like there's this thing that goes on where, you know, you kind of want to be using a deck that you've used a little bit, not so much that it's like old and like not as slidey anymore, but you want to get it to the point where it's like, yeah, this inflection point between having enough curvature and still retaining enough like newness.
Well, that's sort of the idea of like breaking in a deck of cards, right?
Sure. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
because
you're
you're
right,
like
yeah.
you're sort of molding it to a specific. There's
Style.
part of it that's like you need to strip the initial layer of gloss or whatever that is.
Yeah.
To sort of make it
The finish.
controllable. Yeah, the finish. Yeah. But then past that, it's just like molding it to what you're doing. I want to save up some money because I've spent too much money on this set and I'm broke as fuck right now. But I want to save out some money and buy like literally like 300 decks of cards.
Wow.
And just fill up a bunch of those cubicles.
Yep. Yeah, that would be cool.
And it'll be all like bicycles and bees.
Yeah.
Just standards. Just fucking and I can just like rip one on. You know what I mean? Like just have like a little they say that a lifetime supply of cards is 144 decks. I want 2 lifetime supplies.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice, yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
All right. Basically,
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have guests here, you know,
this whole
need
project
extra
is
decks.
basically to make 12-year-old me cream in my pants. Right. The table.
Yep.
Right. That would have done it.
Got
right.
it, yeah.
Instantly. 2 lifetime supplies of decks.
Also,
Instantly.
yeah, double creaming.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Nice.
That's it. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah. You need do you have like a special signature deck or something that you're got on display or something? Like what's your rarest deck?
I have we didn't
Or as
display
the
it.
people say in the UK, your rarest DAC.
Dak.
DAC. I don't
Bro,
know.
we give
I get this all the time, man. I'm like, oh, that's a nice like deck, you know? And they're like, what? I get so much shit for it. This is the biggest thing that I get called out on.
Yep.
Yep.
I get that from my American audience. I get that from any international audience really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The other thing is party. The way we say party. They think Americans think we're saying potty.
Oh yeah, party. I just
Party.
went to a party.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went to a mean party. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So rare decks, right? We have I don't have a lot because so I I have one that's fuck it. There's one that's signed by David Blaine. It's a
Nice.
White Lions. I've been holding on that. And then that Fontaine Black deck, I got that in a
What, with the cat?
Secret Santa. Yeah, that's fucking rare, dude.
Yeah. Bring it. Let's show it off. I saw that. I was eyeing that up. I was like, huh. It's just a black deck with a cat.
Fontaines are like the supreme of cards.
Really?
Like it's just like
I've
very.
never heard of them.
It's very hype train sort of.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
you know, like what this guy did. He was Zach Mueller, who was this cardistry guy.
Oh, I remember.
He used to work for like Theory 11, do those shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, he started a deck company.
Yeah.
And just you see the F's on the back of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
He just did that on like a blue so just white on blue. Like very simple, just an F on blue, and like did a bunch of cardistry videos that got like some millions of views, and then it just became hype.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
And then now he's just like releasing Fontaines on Fontaine. Like there's so many versions, I don't know. But I got this.
And is that it? Like that's the Fontaine
Yeah.
thing? Is just 2 Fs on design.
Yep.
Wow.
And I got this on a Secret Santa, which I was like, what the fuck?
What Secret Santa?
We did like a magic Secret Santa back in the day.
Yeah.
One guy was like, just gave me that, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Big hype.
why are you giving me
fanboyed.
this for like, you know, it's like a under $20 like or under $10 Secret Santa, and he gave me this. I was like, Jesus.
Well, what are they worth?
I don't know, but it's Fontaines, bro. Hold on to them. What are you doing? You know?
Right. Okay.
So the cool thing about them is they got like that.
Lol. Nice.
That's pretty cool. And a lot of them are like cats. Oh, they got a stripper cat.
Nice.
Ass and, you know,
Yep.
whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, like all the queens are cats.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if all the Fontaines do this, but these specific ones.
Right.
But
It makes sense with the
one of my
cat and
favorite ones. Let me find it real quick. It's like an ad card sort of thing.
Ad
Rip
card.
and dip. That's the Joker's. But
Yep.
this is my favorite one. Read it out loud.
Nice. It says, "Get a job. There's no money in flipping cards."
Yep. This is what my dad told me. Swear to God.
Yeah.
And
here we are.
Here we are. Well,
Here we are.
broke as fuck, but
Well,
here we are.
Yeah, you still made a bit doing working at
No,
various places.
before COVID, I was full time.
Yeah.
So I was making money.
Yeah.
But
shows.
then COVID, and then the venues closed, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly,
Old Rona, mate.
honestly, I just can't be fucked, like re-establishing connections for like physical gigs,
Oh yeah.
because they stress me the fuck out, man.
Mm,
So like, if I can do something I enjoy,
sure.
like, you know, I like the gigs. I like once I'm in the gig, it's fun.
Mm,
But I don't know, man. Like the dealing with clients, the whole shebang, man. I prefer this sort of environment.
yeah, totally
You
makes
know?
sense. Yeah.
And like, I think the
you
magic.
chill. You don't have like stress about like what table am I going to next? Like who's enjoying it? Like who seems receptive to some like stuff? I don't know.
Who's the drunk guy that thinks I'm hitting on his girlfriend?
Right.
Do I have to
yeah.
massage his ego?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, it's all good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, do I have to like, sometimes what I'll do is I'll even like show, I'll do the trick so that he can see what I'm doing, but no one else can. Just to get them
Actually,
on my side.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. Like, I don't want to do that, man. That's
Yeah.
not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But most of the time it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the coolest thing about magic is the conversations you have after the trick,
Yeah.
which
sure.
is the whole point of this podcast.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is what's more fun for me.
Yep.
Like, not necessarily the trick itself.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, you've said before, right? There is a satisfaction and like a fulfillment in seeing someone get the wow factor, the entertainment value from you doing a trick, which I think is something like cool in and of itself. You know, you're like making someone's day or week or year or life or something. But yeah, there's so much more to it than just that, right?
Yeah, like, obviously, someone enjoying what I do is fun. Someone enjoying what I do is fun. But I find that it's sort of like an icebreaker. People seem to talk about cool shit after like something cool happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Normally, when you talk to someone, it's like, oh, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
Like all the
right.
surface level shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really give
Yeah,
a
you
fuck.
want? I want to cut that. I
Yeah,
wanna cut the crap.
100%.
Just get straight into it.
100%.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk
fair.
about like psychology. Let's talk about the last time
Yeah.
someone lied to you. Let's
Yep.
talk about something fucking, like really interesting.
Nice. Yeah.
You know?
And this does cut through that, right? Like you get this is basically one of the best icebreakers you could have.
That's
right?
what I like it for.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the thing that happens after
Yeah.
a lot more than
And
Like-
I think you could. I think there was like a cool approach here, like a cool angle where the themes that you have in whatever trick you're showing is what's leading into a conversation.
Yeah, and I think I do that subconsciously.
Oh yeah, right.
Because like I don't like, okay, ambitious card. The card is ambitious, and it keeps rising to the top because the card itself has a personality. It's ambitious.
So what are you trying to rise up to?
No, okay, no. But the point is, I actually hate the ambitious idea because it's like the audience isn't fucking stupid. They know that card is just a card.
Sure.
And they know you're doing the trick.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't lie to, like, even though you both know you're lying to them, at least make it like personable. At least make it like we're on the same level and like, I'm going to try to cheat you or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be a game. It needs to be like, we need to be like on the same team and I'm showing you some cool shit. Not like I'm lying to your face and you just have to like sit there and go, oh, really?
Yeah.
Real? Is it ambitious?
Yeah.
Is the card really ambitious? Like, you know what I mean?
Wow, it keeps coming to the top.
Yeah.
Wow,
Like,
you
that
must have a
drives me
personality.
crazy,
Yeah.
man. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think that mentality leads to like those sort of like they feel like they can trust me because they don't feel like I was being like above them, you know? And then that breaks the ice in that certain way.
Yeah. You essentially get to build rapport in a certain container that is like that you almost have control over in a certain way, right?
Which might be some psychological shit where it's like I lack control. You know, growing up, I've lacked control of my social life.
Yeah, sure.
So now I've found a way to
which makes sense,
control
right?
the environment in a certain way that leads to positive outcomes every time. You know, like yeah. That's the fucking nerd life, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just 12 a.m. shuffling cards. You know, that's how you get there.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what keeps coming. Especially for this. Like, this setup is so lit. And you got so much, like, you know, there's so much context up until now. And this is like the springboard into what's coming up, you know? And so, yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. Like this, for me as well, you know, like first time on a podcast, like what the heck?
I say podcast just because it's people understand what that means.
Yeah.
But I don't really see it as a podcast.
Right. How would you describe it?
In the sense that like it's more of a show.
Okay.
In the sense that you sort of have to watch it. Like a lot of the stuff we did here was like I'm not sitting here explaining what just happened to the audience.
Oh, sure.
To the audio audience.
Yes.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're excluded because there's so much audio content. And I found that working at Lanico, which was a mask place.
Wow.
During the pandemic, I was working at a mask factory. All the events were shut. I was out of a job. I needed some fucking money.
Yep.
And one morning, while I was binging, what the fuck was I binging? I think I was playing EVE Online or I was playing EVE Online, dude. Oh my fucking God. Okay, so I was like, I think like probably like 2 weeks deep.
Yeah.
On like a fucking autistic obsession of EVE Online.
Yeah.
Right? I was going out into the depths of space, being a fucking
salvaging
space explorer, salvaging ancient artifacts in rival
ancient artifacts being ones and zeros.
In rival clan territory.
Yeah.
Right? Bro, the Russians are ruthless.
Yeah.
If you go to Russian zone, they will fuck
Is
you
it actually
up.
Russian zone?
100%.
Oh my gosh.
The Russian time
so
zone.
it's not really any different from real life. At the moment, anyway.
I was Ukraine. All right, that's fucked, man. The point is, you go into this part of the like where you'd see that there's not a lot of activity, but it was all controlled, like Russian time zone controlled. So you would go in and like someone would see you on the map on the
radar or something.
No, there's just like a little chat box that says who's in the local area. So they don't even know where you are. They just know you're in that system. And someone will go, oh, some fucking scrub came in.
Like, and there's a new name.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
it's not in Cyrillic.
2 systems in, there's fucking a whole goon squad coming to get you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they're on top of shit.
Yeah, right.
Like, full-time job.
Yeah,
you know?
wild.
And I'm trying to like get through the zones to
Yeah.
get to this one spot where there's like ancient relics or whatever the fuck. I'm trying to evade all these like sure, but whatever the fuck. All these Russians trying to fucking run after me and get me.
Yeah.
And they basically have to cut me off and go ahead of me
Yeah.
and camp the gate.
Yeah,
And as soon as they see me enter, they pop a bubble, which as soon as I try to go for the gate, I get stuck in the bubble and then they catch me and kill me. Right? And I was successful for like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. And then the 4th week, I got killed like 3 times in a row and lost everything.
Oh,
And I was like, all right, I guess I'm out.
I give up. I give up.
yeah. But it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah,
Point
sure.
is, I was at Lanico listening to fucking EVE Online radio. Right? That's the level.
way.
That's the level of boredom, bro. I was
No.
sitting there, making masks. And the whole time they're like, well, actually, the forward thrusters are up 40% this
Are you serious?
this quarter. So
Oh
you
my
should invest.
gosh.
You should invest in forward thrusters as much as you can because they're gonna go down back. They're gonna go back down next quarter for sure when the update comes in. And they're just talking about like market research
Yeah.
in EVE Online
Oh my
economy.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of crypto as well.
Bro,
It's just like
You could play that game
Yeah.
never leaving the station.
yeah,
never
yeah. I
entering
remember
a
you telling me
spaceship.
you just got like traders and like
100%.
it's like yeah. It's like fintech people, just like
Oh my god.
I bet there's people that have just built programs to like read data from the game and then like calculate like stuff and like actually do like this is what fintech does, right? They just like read the market, like make buys and sells and like just try like make 0.1% with every transaction or something. I bet someone's done something like that with Eve, just like
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like there's, yeah.
also, just while we're on the topic of games, I was looking at this the other day, like what's the most played game? And
Candy Crush.
nah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember what I typed. I can't remember if I typed the most played MMO or if I typed the most played video game. I think I did video game. But it was actually like Final Fantasy 16 or something that was first. And then I think second was the game that I was thinking about, and third was World of Warcraft. Or it was like first was Final Fantasy, second was World of Warcraft.
Was it most played in terms of like hours?
No, like active players.
Wow.
Which is crazy because World of Warcraft, right?
It's been around
is like,
for so
It's been around
long.
for ages, and also it's like a $30 subscription a month or something. It's got like
EVE
1.4
Online is the
million
same.
players.
EVE Online is the same.
Right.
The difference is that you can technically grind or kill other ships to get money to pay for the subscription.
Oh yeah, right.
So when you
right.
die in the game, you're technically losing real money. Like
Yeah.
you're losing like
Wild.
whatever money. Yeah.
Crazy. I remember back in the day when we used to play Tribal Wars.
Oh, those were bro. I got the most nostalgia.
Back in the days.
Oh man,
Dude.
bro, the Battle Dawn and Tribal Wars
Oh,
days.
Battle Dawn. Wow. I remember us playing
so-
that again like so many years later, dude.
Dude, like some of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
Like I have like legit favorite like lifetime memories
Mm-hmm.
in those games, man.
Yeah, yeah.
What the
yeah.
fuck?
It's like seeing all the squads
wait.
going.
So for those people that don't know what this is, right?
They're just like, what are these nerds talking about?
So these
Like,
are
this is such a specific like time thing as well. Like if you're like, if you're like a few years younger than us.
if you grew up
you've
in
just
Clash
didn't-
of Clans, you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah. But this is
But-
like RuneScape era, like Tribal
Slightly
Wars era.
after, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Or like, well, at least for us.
Yeah.
But what it was, right? It was like these games where you could build a city, and then but everything took like real time hours.
Yeah.
And so
So
you'd
you'd
be
be
like,
like, I want to like upgrade my headquarters, and it like takes you like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or like initially it takes you like 7 seconds
yeah,
or something to like build your barracks. And this is how they get you. This is like, so for me, this is like the, how do I say this? Like, this is like the starting point of the like attention farming dynamic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where like now games like have like all these bullshit side quests and like you can tap here and there's like a red icon here and you like tap this and then you like tap the achievements to get them so you get like points or whatever. And like Tribal Wars was this where it's like it hooks you in by
what-
being like you can upgrade if you spend an hour on this, you're gonna go from like 270 points, which is like the starting thing for your village, to like 2,400 points. Yo, sick.
Yeah.
And then you get to like this like upgrading your barracks to like level 12 takes like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And you're just like, I guess I'll log in 2 weeks. But if you log in 2 weeks, your whole shit might be gone by then.
Yeah.
Because someone could literally attack your village and just take it over.
Yep.
And you're like out of the game.
Yeah.
Like
Gotta start again.
You gotta start from 200 points, right?
Yeah.
And so we would be at school because like the whole point of it was like we couldn't play we couldn't play World of Warcraft because I wasn't allowed to play games because super conservative parents. You were like, you had to do your schoolwork or whatever the fuck. So we'd like, okay, what can we play that's like we could play 5 minutes minutes every couple hours and still be like competitive.
Yeah.
And so you could log in for 5 minutes, do your thing, log out. I would use like a fucking boss key sort of thing where I would like hide my desktop. My mom would come behind me and she'd be like, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing schoolwork. Yeah. Right?
I remember discovering that, man. That was a game changer. I can't remember I can't remember if I got it off someone or like, I feel like maybe it was either two things. I either got it off like someone in like the year or two above us or something. Or I just like found it on, I think it was like, I got it through someone a year or two above us and I spread it to like our little like friend group. And then in DGT, we were playing Urban Terror. I don't know if you ever played that with us.
Nah, I never played that.
Oh, it was like a shooter game.
Right.
And so basically, Boss Key was this app where like you could press like control or like you could set the hotkey. But say for us it was like Control Shift X or something. And it just like you can set the windows that it hides, but it doesn't like and it takes them out of your taskbar as well. So like they're invisible.
Yeah, completely invisible. You could not like unless you hit that exact keystroke.
Yeah,
it would not show you. So my mom could come in and be like, "What are you doing?" and look through my whole computer and not find shit.
Yeah,
and then I'd be like, "Sweet," walked out the room. Bop, I'm back in the game.
Yeah, and it doesn't like there was like even for older computers there wasn't like a loading like it wasn't laggy. You just boom and it's just like.
Yeah,
done. And you're like, yes.
It never fucked up once.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Yeah. Oh man,
that saved my ass so many times.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't even like people,
remember Mr. Lee? So
people thinking now it's like, oh bro, you're probably watching porn and then like hiding it. Nah, not even
playing games.
Legit playing games that we weren't allowed to, and it wasn't even like it was like I'd be playing like fucking 2D text games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But mom would just be like. You should throw a fit if she found it. So
yeah, I just remember we'd be playing this like first person shooter, right? In DGT class, and we had like you'll know, but we had like rows, right? So we had like this discs.
I don't know if that's on camera. Go further back.
Oh right.
Like yeah.
And like anyway, we had like two rows of desks, and so we were here and here. And then like Mr. Lee was here, the teacher, and he'd like sometimes get up and like walk around, and so these guys would have to boss key, and then these guys just like grab kills on these guys until he walks around here and boss key, and then we switch back, and it was just like you gotta like time it, It's like who's like the most confident that he's like actually walked past you. Before he gets to the end of the row, the first guy's already like into it.
So there's a whole tactical thing about timing when the teacher walks past to kill the other people.
Yeah. Bro, it got so meta. Yeah.
Oh man, that's good days, bro. Oh fuck the memories.
Throwbacks.
Oh. That's fine.
Nice.
So an hour in, easy. Want another drink?
Min.
Finish your drink. Have another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I don't know what the fuck we were talking about. But
yeah. Well, yeah.
Bosky,
indeed.
Yeah, so
maybe we switch it up.
Yeah, we'll switch it up. Well, okay, let's switch it up. All right, so here's a question I got to ask you. Before you left, okay, the very night, I think before your flight or some shit, me, you, and this older man called David stayed up till like fucking 3 a.m.
He was there last night.
Yep, yeah, I know. Not last night, the night before.
Oh yeah.
Discussing, all right. If you wake up in a room, oh no, life is like this. You wake up in a white room. You don't remember anything what happened before you, right? So you go, what the fuck? Like, what is this? What is this white room, right? And you see like there's another guy next to you, and he goes, bro, I've been in this room for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes longer than you've been in this room. Listen to what I got to say, bruv, right? And he starts telling you like, bro, it's all about, Shiva or whatever the fuck religion, right? He's like, bro, I'm telling you, we've been made by this God and this is what happened and this is blah, 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 blah. And you go, okay, cool. And you go to the next person, and he's like, bro, I've been in this room for 10 minutes. That's 5 minutes longer than the next guy and 10 minutes longer than you.
That's
And
double.
let me tell you what I know. Outside of this room, which we've never seen, any of us in this room have never seen, is this, that, and the other, and the God wants you to do this, and blah, 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 blah. And you go, okay, none of you have seen outside this room. You all have fucking theories out of what's outside this room. What the fuck do you do with that information, and what is outside this room? This was the discussion we had before you left for UK.
Yeah.
I want to know, have any of those festivals you've been going to
Taking me outside the room.
taken you outside the room, or what do you has there been any change in your opinion from the last conversation we had?
Oh, interesting. No, not really. I think like my spiritual path has been pretty consistent since like 2014, like kind of gradually developing, like having more conversations. And this was like an aspect of it. But I mean, it's only been 4 months. I haven't been to so many festivals. So actually, I think I've told you this already, but like been to some like forest pop-up raves, you know, like Dimension's like a forest rave, but it's there like 3 days, like full production value, you know, like 3 stages, all this stuff takes them like weeks to build. And then I've been to Amsterdam to DEF CON 1.
This sounds so pretentious, by the way. Like, bro, you go to a rave and you're going to discover fucking, you know, the meaning of life.
Oh, yeah,
Shut the
sure.
fuck up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I get that. But I think just UK in general, like being in a different environment, being around different ideas.
The travel, I think, for me is real interesting. Like the like independence aspect of it, and just like being able to live life like not like on my own terms isn't exactly the thing I'm looking for here, but like living life like yeah independently, just like, you know, it's me now, and I get to make the choices that I'm making, and like I'm like fully responsible for what I'm doing. And it's just like I can't like concretely say what has changed, but it's just I feel more myself in a way, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I get these moments, you know, fairly often where I'm just like, wow, this is my life. And I talk about this. So like with my partner, Daisy, just like, we're just like walking around or like, you know, doing things. And I'm just like, wow, like I'm so grateful that I like have this experience. Because it's so different to what I've been exposed to, and it's new, and I love new experiences, and there's been so many new experiences in the last 4 months, that it's kind of opening me up to a lot of what life is about in a way. Like it is to me. I think one of the things that I've that has maybe changed a bit, or like I've developed more in over the last 4 months, is like how this is my perspective is like a lot of life is actually just about being in the moment. And like this sounds cliche, and I kind of like knew this before, but it's actually just appreciating where you are and all of the things that you have, and like friends, family, opportunities, like a space, you know, and because of all of the new things that I've experienced in the last 4 months, it's like I try to drop in to this moment as frequently as I can, because it's always, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it, and one is it's always this moment. Like this moment is the only thing that you ever experience, and it's always new. And so dropping into the moment and just appreciating it for what it is, and all of the things that like it encompasses, which is everything that you, I don't know, experience, has, I don't know, I've grown in my appreciation for life through this, you know.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, wow, this is it. And another level of this is like how it's all temporary. Like I look over the last 4 months and it's just like,
Yeah.
You know, like it's just I've had all of these crazy good experiences. Like honestly, I've told you this before, but like I feel like I'm living my dream life.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm in a job which I love. Like it's really intense. I'm working a lot, but like I love what I'm doing. I feel like I'm bringing value to the world. I feel like I'm actually living and working in something meaningful. And aside from that, I'm also having these like positive experiences like socially and like in my development, and it's just all coming together into this great like bundle of life, and I'm just like, well, this is it. This is life, and like I know that this isn't gonna last, and like there's a certain part of me that's like there's like this element of fear of like is this just like at some point gonna turn to shit, you know? And like should I just like appreciate the hell out of what I have right now, because I know that one day everything's gonna be different, and I can't be certain that I'm gonna have all these things to appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. And like an extension of that is actually like being grateful for the difficult things as well. Like
that's fucking hard though.
It is very hard, and like sometimes it's only possible in retrospect, right? Like for example, when my dad died last year, like this was like a very difficult experience, like probably the most difficult experience of my life, aside from Vipassana. My first Vipassana course.
It's funny that you say that, because that's not the impression I got when I talked to you about it.
Yeah, right.
I was like this fucking, like I was struggling.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I definitely.
For people that
like,
don't understand, don't know what that is.
Yeah,
just
sure.
quickly. Yeah, Vipassana was a thing we did. Well, you've done it twice now. I've done it once. It's like a 10-day no talking meditation retreat. It's sort of has. I mean, it's a Buddhist practice, where you basically do like, I don't know, 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I think it's like
Probably
10 or 12. I think it was 12. You
Like,
wake up at 4 a.m.
I was struggling with the sleep aspect. Like,
and you go till 9 p.m.
fuck, man. I was legit like sleeping. Like I was like, I can't, like, they're like, oh, all you need is meditation. Like you won't feel as you'll be rested from the meditation. No fucking way, bro. I couldn't hear the fucking gong for the wake up call. I was passed the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because I was tired as shit, man. That shit takes energy. It's not easy. Like that monkey brain just fucking runs around, and you got to constantly bring it back and be equanimous about it. You got to be like, it's okay that it's running around. No, it's fucking not okay. It's running around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to be like focusing on like, you know, tracking my body up and down and feeling the vibrations and shit. I can't.
And the
feel
monkeys
shit.
in your head with like the symbols, like bing, bing.
Yeah, I can't feel shit. I can't feel anything. How is this okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that sums up my experience. But yeah.
And I think for me the most difficult part was like, I think it was like day 6, where I was like, I'm sitting there and like meditating, and like I'm trying to meditate really hard. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm meditating really hard here. Like focus, like super straight back, and
Everything hurts too.
Yeah.
Everything fucking hurts.
Yeah.
You've been sitting in that position for 10 fucking days, 12 hours a day. What the fuck?
Yeah, crazy.
Oh.
And like, no, like, don't exercise. Don't, like they say, don't stretch.
Don't
like,
run.
Don't do yoga. Yeah. So anyway,
How do you? Yeah.
I'm like on day 6, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like meditating real hard, and like I'm feeling this pain in like my lower back, right? And I'm like, oh man, this is like serious. I'm like, okay, but I just gotta like, you know, arises, passes away, arises, passes away. Okay, arises, passes away, arises, passes away. Okay, just gotta, Anicca, yeah. And I'm like, okay, just gotta breathe through it, just like go through it. Like my whole experience is focused on this like pain that I'm feeling in my lower back, and I'm just like, this is literal hell. Like this is like the worst pain that I've experienced in my life, and like I'm not doing anything else apart from focusing on how painful this thing is. And this went on for like probably like half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I can't remember, because the sessions are like anywhere between like an hour and 2 hours, right? And and yeah, at this point, it was just like the most difficult thing I've ever experienced. And then like, just, I'm like, I like relaxed my lower back a little bit, like, and it just like went away. And I was like, whoa, I was like putting so much pressure on myself. And this is like this meta like level learning that I've had from this experience. But I was putting so much pressure on myself to do this thing the right way, quote unquote, that I realized that, well, I can be doing the same thing without putting the pressure on myself. And yeah, so I like relaxed a little bit, and then I could just meditate. I was like, wow, I realized that I can do this thing without having all this pressure on me. But anyway, to bring this back, like, that's like the second most difficult experience I think I've had, like, to my dad dying, more or less. Like, I mean, I had my grandma die, and then like I've had other like difficult experiences, but in terms of what comes to mind, and like, I think like my dad dying, is still like in various ways like very painful, but like me and like my family were like a little bit like blocked by it in a certain way, because we had to like take care of him and like watch out for him and be making sure to spend time with him and like the sort of thing. Because for context, for people who don't know, like my dad was like very like, he had like a couple of accidents and a stroke, and he was like not in a good shape.
So unlucky, dude.
Yeah, he got worse luck, right? And
I mean,
like
what?
and for someone,
over the first thing that happened, just for like,
sure, yeah. So like, and like for someone who was like in the army and like always active, and like he's like very handyman, like loves to do all the shit. Like I got all my handyman skills from my dad, and like yeah. So the first
Wasn't
thing
he like
was
a sniper or some shit?
He was a tank driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, drove tanks. In the Afghan war.
What a fucking life, dude.
And he had like no sense of like meaning or purpose, because he couldn't do anything anymore. Like he was like physically not
why
really,
though? Just
yeah. So like first accident he had, we used to like live in a house that was like kind of on a hill with like a flat driveway, and he came and parked on top of the driveway, and then to like pick us up, because my parents used to live separately, pick up me and my sister, and he like came around the back of the car, which started like rolling back for what I still to this day don't know. Like,
you think
my dad's a good driver. Like
you think the handbrake failed or what?
Well, yeah, that's like my going theory. But even then, like he was in park mode. Like I don't think he would. I'm like near certain that it wasn't a manual car, so it wasn't a neutral. And because it was a Volvo, and in New Zealand you don't really have manual cars. But so yeah, started rolling back, and he's like trying to hold it up, and nope, I mean it's a freaking car on a hill, right? And so like pushes him under, and he's like rolling under the car all the way to the bottom. Broke like his pelvis, like 2 broken ribs, broken shoulder, like broken leg or whatever, broken arm, and yeah, like ambulance came and got him. He was in like ICU.
You sent me the fucking rap sheet for the medical rap sheet.
Oh,
of, like,
yeah,
all the
that's
injuries,
right.
And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I do not.
How the fuck did he survive that?
Yeah, like we were in the hospital, right? And the doctor's just like, we don't think he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And we're just like, fuck.
But this was a long time ago.
Yeah, this is like I think I was thinking like year 8 or something. So it was like maybe 2008. Yeah. But so yeah, he didn't like have much like physical ability, and then like after that he had like a stroke. So he like so fucked up, right? Like one part of his body, like from the accident, they like cut a nerve when trying to like repair him on his like one of his legs. So he like couldn't really walk properly on that leg. He had like foot drop and stuff. And then when he had a stroke, it affected the other side of his body. So he's like fucked up on both sides. And so he was just like pretty physically disabled, like spent basically all his time playing like bullshit video games. Like
not the ones that he liked to play.
Yeah, exactly. Because he couldn't play first person shooters because his hand wasn't responsive enough. It was real sad actually, like watching him like try play games, and because we'd like to play together or something, but he just couldn't, you know. And like yeah, we got a bit broken up about it because we had like the only way that we could spend quality time together was him like telling me how to like fix things and that sort of thing. So that's where I learned a lot of that from. But anyway, like bringing it back, like we had to like spend a lot of time taking care of him, and so I probably wouldn't be living the life that I'm living now if he hadn't passed away. And like the thing that gives me solace and like not feeling so guilty about this thing in particular, though I feel guilty about other things, like not having spent more time with him, not like having an active effort to bring meaning to his life in some way, although like it's hard to impose that on yourself to like expect that you bring meaning to
I will
someone's
say
life.
from an outside perspective, I feel like you did a fucking great job. Like I'm terrible with like,
Thanks, man.
yeah, with sort of commitments that I have towards my family and stuff. Like I'm terrible with that sort of shit. And like you spent like you were always like, oh no, I'm fixing the car with dad. I'm doing this for dad. I'm helping with it. Like you were all like I'm like, let's hang out. You'd be like, nah, I can't because blah blah blah. Like you were always doing that. So from an outside perspective, I don't think you should be guilty about that. But that's just a side note.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Means a lot. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
So
to
yeah,
derail you.
where were we? Yeah. So like this was like, you know, the most difficult experience I had to go through because I love my dad. And I still had this shame, you know, that I hadn't done enough when he died. And like, but it also freed me up to be able to move countries. Like I would not have been able to move countries if he was still alive because I just feel like exponentially more guilty for just having like left him and like left mum. They had a kind of a strained relationship. And so, in retrospect, it's like, well, this was like a blessing in disguise in a certain way. And like also for dad, like he was suffering, you know, like he told me multiple times crying that like he doesn't want to live anymore because he just like can't do shit. And it's like, that's like the most fucked thing to like hear, right? Like your dad's crying saying like, I don't want to live anymore because like I can't do things. And so like, yeah, it gives me a bit of solace that like he was freed from that suffering and we were like,
It's
freed
also
as well to like live our lives and like
Yeah.
for me as well in this like critical time of my life where I get to like go and see the world.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, just for me now there's this perspective of like trying to be aware of what difficulties are showing me or like bringing what positive things difficulties are bringing into my life. 'Cause I mean, it's kind of cliche, but like it's trying to see the silver lining or like, you know, trying to see the good and the bad. And I think this has made me a generally like happier person and like genuinely happier. Like
can relate to that, yeah.
every day before I go to bed, I like do some stretches and then I like just spend 5 minutes just like being grateful for the things that I have. And I think like I can't notice like a concrete change or something of how this affects me, but it just feels like in my days I'm less bothered by things because I realize how much I'm grateful for. Yeah. And I think over the last 4 months, like me having embodied this in all of these different moments of like how amazing life can be, and yeah, like given how shit life can be, and obviously like I'm still very privileged of like where I was born, how I was raised, compared to a lot of people in the world, you know.
I will say, I mean, where you were born,
Yeah.
if you hadn't come here, you
Yep.
would be very underprivileged. Let's
Yep.
put it that way.
Mm.
Born in Ukraine.
Mhm.
If you guys stayed the fuck there, you'd be fucking on the front lines right now.
Yep. So
So,
very grateful for that as
Yeah,
well. Dad was the
Jesus
one that wanted to
Christ.
make like that made the decision that we were gonna move here.
yeah, it's fuck,
Um,
man.
It's crazy to think like if I was there right now, yeah, I'd be in the middle of the Ukraine. I could be dead. Like,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
could just straight up
chances are.
just be dead
Yep.
or holding a gun and just like, you know,
Yeah.
not knowing like why we're getting attacked or raided or whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like just recognizing how amazing it is that I'm living this life that I'm living, and all of the experiences that I have, and trying to embody that as much as possible. I think over the last 4 months or so, like over like a lot of my life, actually mostly since like it was around the time that I started meditating that I started getting into more of a gratitude practice. And this just kind of keeps building. And like, I really like, this is one thing I really like about Gary Vee. because he kind of shares this perspective, like gratitude is the key. And like, I really believe that.
As much of a meme as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like live that.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think it's
is
just
that
so
water,
big.
by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Check us out. Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
I might go take a leak.
Cool.
We can break.
Yeah. And we're back. That was a nice pee. But I will, I will say I actually like relate to a lot of what you're saying.
Right.
I don't know if I've had, my difficulties might have been a lot different. I haven't had like a very significant, like I've had, grandparents die and stuff, but like haven't had like, a parent die or anything like that. So I can't relate in that sense. But for me, my most difficult part of my life was my childhood, I would say. So one aspect of that was like bullying, for example. And, like went to like a pretty semi-rough school. Initially, when I came here, I didn't speak English very well. There was a lot of racism I can't really complain about because I'm white. Like a lot of like go back to your country sort of shit. But we would get in. I would get in fights every week for like 2 years, every week. So I don't even it's weird. Like my mind's I only remember a few certain ones, but like I don't even like my mind sort of blocked out a lot of that. And I think it's like a sort of some sort of defense mechanism. But yeah, like it just became a thing of like I would have to, if someone picked on me, I would have to prove, like it was sort of that prison mentality. It's like I ain't no bitch, and I have to go like level 10 to prove, like, you know what I mean? Like, because otherwise it'd just keep happening. So you'd have to just fucking swing at some guy, regardless if you win or lose. The point is they're not going to do it again because they know I'm going to get punched in the face if I keep saying this. And so that's very like, it's like tough guy mentality, but it's not. It's just really like anger management issues. You just lose control all the time because it's the only way to survive or to sort of be in that ecosystem. And so
it's really weird that you bring this up. Like I totally forgot about this period of like when you had like this anger management.
It was slightly
ordeal,
before your time.
Yeah,
well,
it's like
before we met.
it's like yeah, but there was like some like remnants there,
Overlap a little bit.
And it's really interesting because like you just like I don't like there's no experience that I have now where I like am reminded of this. And it's just really weird, like thinking back to like how it was at that time.
Yeah.
And how much things have changed.
Well, the difference is like, so I had anger issues, right? But then what ended up happening was as soon as the stimuli was no longer there. So as soon as I moved schools to the North Shore, which was like kind of like a more posh area, not a lot of fucking, people like the problems were like, oh, my mom put salami instead of ham. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, okay, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So as soon as it sort of like it transformed from that, there was no longer a stimuli for me to get angry. And so that all that tension and that sort of emotional, whatever you want to call it,
emotional damage.
Yeah, pretty much transformed to anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. And so it became anxious about if something were to happen, anxiety about my lack of control of certain situations, because I no longer, like once that sort of period went to pass, I no longer had that defense mechanism. So even if someone were to pick on me, that sort of like just went away because it wasn't a constant thing that would happen. And so I would just be like, well, if someone picks on me, I ain't gonna do shit. And so the anxiety of that became it sort of overtook. And so in my perspective now, looking back, it's like that was what drove me to martial arts. That was what drove me to start training BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And like even when I started, for me, I was legit like, okay, the reason I'm doing this is to get over my fear of confrontation, right? I did not have a goal of getting good. I didn't even think I could. Like, I would just go in and I'd be like, I need to be comfortable with this. So I'm going to go there, get fucked up, and just be comfortable, right? So I would go in every day for about a year plus, anxiety. Before going, massive anxiety. Rock up, we'd do the drills, like the warm-ups and shit, massive anxiety. Would get to the roll, massive anxiety. Start the roll, it was fine because it's not that bad. And then next day, same shit again. Every fucking day for like a year plus. Every fucking day. And I was just like, I know if I keep doing it, my anxiety will eventually be fine. Like, I don't know why I knew this. I don't know where I got this idea.
Exposure therapy.
I mean, it is a thing.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
100% a thing. But I don't know why the fuck I thought that because in a lot of other aspects of my life, I never thought I could do anything. Like magic, I never thought I could do anything. I was always told, this will never get you money.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Always.
Devil's work.
100, well, yeah,
Cards,
that's,
yeah.
But, like, the point was, like, you could never do anything with this. But for some reason, in that aspect, I was like, I know if I just keep doing it, it'll be fine. And then eventually I was like, oh, shit. Like, those blue belts that were just, like, gods, untouchable, could never do anything against. I'm, like, hanging out. I'm doing, like, we're not, like, I can just not get tapped for a round.
Yep. I remember
Holy
this.
fuck.
Yep.
And then, years go by, I get a blue belt, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm that guy now.
Yep.
And then at that point, and I know this sounds cocky because I'm still purple belt, at that point, I was like, I'm going to get to black.
Right.
No chance I'm not. If I can get to white to blue, like it's a proof of concept. Like I can do this. But it was never an idea. It was never like, I see white belts coming. How long does it take to get black?
Right.
Bro, I never thought about it.
Yeah,
I never
right.
I never thought I could get a blue belt.
Yeah.
Because all I thought was I need to get over this anxiety. So now every day I go in and I just rock up and I'm like in flip flops and I'm walking in, hey bro, hey, Maddie, what's good? Psh, psh, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. Brand new guys come in. I'm like, bro, you'll be good. You'll be fine, bro. I will go easy, chill, no problem. I'm helping them. I'm doing this. I sit back and think and I'm like, fuck, man. Like just the fact that I'm able to show up and have fun and like I'm enjoying my life. I can enjoy. I don't have to think about it all day. Be like, fuck, I got training tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to competitions now.
Yeah.
I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give. I'm not gonna say. I'm still scared, but I'm like, fuck yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dude, like that is like my life has gotten 5,000% better. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's that same thing, like gratitude, massive gratitude, And so like, for me, it's like getting to blue belt is a bigger thing than getting to black belt.
Right.
For me.
Yeah.
Because
right,
I know
right.
if I just keep doing it, eventually it'll happen. It's not like, your skills just keep developing. But I never thought I could get to blue belt. So it's like that gratitude, I understand it 100%. And like the hard times and like, same with like the social anxiety. Now when I can go to a party, I still get like anxious, about certain things where I don't have control. But like I can just rock up and have a fuck ton of fun. And like, my like social awareness has gotten better, yeah. So like all that stuff, man, I can be very grateful for. And it's honestly like I can say now I enjoy my life, especially with this podcast, right?
Yes.
Because it's one of those things where people say do it for fun, and if money comes, that's fine. I've never had that until this. I could not give a fuck if we never make money from this. I obviously want to quit my fucking. I don't want to keep working construction because I'm doing this to support this rent right now.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And if gigs come for magic, that's fine. But I'm not like super pushing it very much because that's very stressful for me. But
So everyone listen to this. Patreon.
100%. If you want to support me, but anyway, that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, I could not give a fuck if we never make money from this because what we're doing right now, me and you, I'm enjoying the fuck of.
Yeah.
I'm so happy in this moment.
Yeah.
Regardless of the alcohol, this is just a bonus. But like, if we, you know what I mean? Like, if this is all that happened, this is all that happened, it was worth it. And that gives so much meaning to my life. For so long, I tried to get meaning through the things I did in the sense that like I need to make my magic somehow help the world, whatever. But I realized I can't help the world if I can't help myself.
Yeah, nice.
You know what I mean? If I can't do something where I'm genuinely excited for, how the fuck am I going to solve the world's problems that like the world's billionaires or whatever the fuck can't seem to solve? Which I guess, that's another whole story.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, for the longest time, I was envious of people like you, not for the money you make, not for traveling around the world, for no other reason than you somehow enjoy the things you do. And for the longest time, whether it's the ADHD, whether it's, like I can't seem to enjoy anything because I'm always like outcome dependent, one, and two, I hate the fucking day-to-day aspect of it. Like, the business side of things, fucking hate. You know, like I want to perform. That's fun. But like for this, I enjoyed putting the set together. I enjoyed scheduling it. I enjoyed every fucking aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm so happy. Like I've never been happier like than I am at this moment, you know? So
Good
I
stuff.
can relate to that shit, my guy.
Yeah,
I can
man.
fucking relate.
Yeah.
So yeah. And saying that, fucking pay me. Advertisers, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nike, let's go. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking do it. Take your own advice.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Yeah, and to be honest though, like honestly, watching your journey as well has been an inspiration for me. Like, I've probably told you this before, but like, you know, when you started in magic and then you like kept up with it, it was like cool. Okay, like this is a thing. But then you started like making YouTube videos. You did one every day. Every day. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I mean, I remember you like staying up like like halfway through the night. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm just editing. I'm like, hey, like, you want to do something? Like, I got to edit a video. And I'm just like, dude, come on, we got to hang out. He's like, I got to edit this video today, man. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to like finish up editing in 2 hours and then we can hang out. And like that dedication, like the everyday grind, was like quite inspirational, you know, like you weren't getting anything from it initially. Like you got like, I don't know how many views you got, 37 or something on like
I think 14 was the first video.
14 views. Yeah. You know, you're like, let's go. Let's just keep doing it. And you built up like, I don't even know how many, like 50K,
40 something. Yeah.
40K subscriber channel. And like, and like you did that and you built it and you started more or less a trend, you know, of like Magician Reacts. And like, this is like, you did that based on your own initiative, your own dedication, your own commitment to like making something happen that you enjoyed as you did it. Obviously, like it wasn't easy always, like having to edit a video every day, but like you did it, and then now you're like doing this new thing.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see this progression, and like I'm really glad for you and to hear that. You know, this is what is giving you like this deep sense of like satisfaction and meaning and like a feeling of fulfillment. That you can do this and enjoy it, and it doesn't feel like work or something.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because like with the YouTube stuff, it was kind of a meathead approach. I understood. I had some understanding of the social platform, and but I honestly had no understanding of myself. So I did what I did at the detriment of my own happiness for the outcome dependent goal.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this initiative, like getting like my partner Amy on board, and she's like doing a lot of work for this whole thing to work. You know, like without her, like this wouldn't happen. Like basically is a recognition of my own, like it's a recognition of me. Like I understand, like I've gotten a bit older, and I've realized what makes me happy. Right. And like doing that grind is not the way to do it long term. I can do it for a few months. 9 months seem to be the max for me.
Yeah.
But after
it's a long max.
It's a long max. But after that, I just get depressed as fuck.
Yeah.
And then I just don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
And so, for me, like, it's like for the longest time, I always saw people that started businesses with other people. And I was like, why the fuck are you like splitting your profits? Right. Like it just, you know, I was always like, bro, just what the fuck's your problem? Do yourself. But now I realize that understanding yourself comes first. And like that self-awareness, I've always had problems with. Growing up, I built the social self-awareness. Then further on, I built like, you know, my own like emotional self-awareness. And then now I'm finally at the point where I understand I can't do everything myself. And like that sort of need for control is only pulling me down, you know? And it's like, yeah, I've lacked control in my life, but that's okay. Because nothing, like I can't, like there's a reason why every fucking big YouTuber has a team. Right. It doesn't happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just can't do everything yourself. Also, if you can only be good at a certain amount of things, right? Sometimes I doubt this.
There are only so many lemons you can hold.
Exactly. Sometimes I doubt this for myself because imposter syndrome is a thing. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I'm good at magic. You know, we can argue that, but I'm good. Like this. I
don't think there's much arguing.
Yeah,
but well,
you know, I argue that with myself sometimes.
Sure.
All right, I'm good at magic. I can do that. I'm decent at editing, right? Like I'm not like a fucking filmmaker level, but like I could get there if I really put my head down. Yeah. But that's really where my fucking talents end. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like scheduling or taxes or whatever the fuck, I'm just not going to get good at that.
Yeah.
And I have to accept that, because if I just kick myself for everything I can't do, it's going to be a long list and a lot of unhappiness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
And so it's just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Let me just focus on what I can do. And I know
Gary
Gary
V
said
double down
this
on your strengths.
from the behind, from like way back in the day, but it's true shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I realized. And like, yeah, man, like it's been wild. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's a big thing around, you know, doubling down on your strengths and like, so for example, for me right now, obviously I've got like, well, maybe not obviously for people watching, but I have like a science and engineering background. My parents always question this. They're like, well, you're not doing engineering anymore. You're organizing conferences around the world. And it's like, why are you not using your engineering? But there's like these specific, these
fucking parents, bro. They always got to like
question what you're doing.
You could be fucking making like 3 mil and like, oh, you're a rapper. Why aren't you doing it? Bro, who gives a fuck? I'm making 3 mil a year. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm enjoying my life. What else do you want?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. And like, and so like the things that I got from there, like the problem solving skills and all this stuff is what I use in my current job. But like, I'm using my strengths in what I'm doing. And that's what is giving me like fulfillment, is that like I feel like I'm good at doing this thing that I'm doing, and like I'm doing it and it's making me happy as I'm doing it, which is basically what you're doing, right? Like you're like,
it's all
cool.
fucking point.
Yeah.
What else? What else is there?
Yeah. And so yeah, there's a big thing there of like, you know, focus on the things that you're good at and you enjoy. And like sometimes you might want to like switch gears and like, you know, do something that you're like not so good at and like you enjoy a little bit less, but like it feels like it brings you more satisfaction because it's like having some other kind of effect or something. But yeah, I think finding that thing that can change over time as well, like undoubtedly, right? But finding that thing in your life that brings you the most meaning, and you feel fulfilled by, and like, yeah, you can get into this like whole like concept of ikigai, you know, like what's the intersection of like what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, what you enjoy doing, and something else. I always forget the fifth one. But the intersection of these things, is like, that's how you live a happy life, and what else is there to it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think we're all deep down in some way like striving to find that thing, and like realizing when you're not there, for example, like realizing that that's you're on your way to finding that thing is I think something that gives you meaning as well. You know, it's like a lot of the quest of life is to find that.
Well,
and then
the journey is really what it is, right? That's the whole point of trying to find something that you enjoy doing, as opposed to enjoy having.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you know what I mean? That's why people say money doesn't bring happiness. Well, yeah, fuck yeah, it doesn't. Because if you hate your life to get the money, then the money the money is just like, okay, you're gonna just blow it on something, and then you're back to working.
Yeah,
you know. Whereas if you enjoy the process and the money is a byproduct, then it's only a bonus. You know.
Yeah, money can add happiness.
100%.
Like be like a
fuck, man. Like like Adobe just fucking refreshed my Premiere Pro, and I'm like, God damn it, I have to pay $5,000 for this shit. I got no money. You know what I mean? Like I've just paid like whatever money on the studio. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be stressful. It's gonna be a detriment to your happiness. But if you're not doing what you love, what the fuck's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming back to like, you know, you only have a certain amount of time in this life, and like, it's so important to take note of the things that in your life that are bringing you happiness, because there's always something. I think, I don't know, maybe that's like a naive and privileged thing, but I feel like there's always something that is bringing you happiness or bringing you meaning, and like
100%, dude.
And like just taking stock of that as you're going, and like obviously you want your life to change in certain ways or something. You want to strive for something, but there's like awareness of the things in your life that you enjoy and you're grateful for. Is so much of what life's about, because you want to, like, in the ideal case, you know, like you're 80, 90, 100 years old, and you're like, wow, at every step of this way, I was like grateful for this and 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 this, and like I'm grateful for all my life because I'm grateful for all of these individual things, and maybe like as a whole, and retaining this awareness as you go through it is what allows you to get to that end point and be like...
And also taking those risks, right? Because I think, like, if you talk to anyone that's old and you ask them what's your biggest regret, it's always going to be things that they didn't do. Right? Like,
100%.
I wish I did this more. I wish I did... So it's like, fucking chase that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people like try to give advice for like young people, like, oh, you know, you got to fucking be smart and invest and stuff. And that's all great shit. But like, at the end of the day, you're 20. Fucking, you know, live the life you want to live.
Yeah.
Who gives a like, you know what I mean? Like, if you end up being 35 and you still got nothing, at least you tried. At least you fucking tried to do the thing you wanted to do. You know? And like for me, I thought I liked certain things, and then I did them, and I ended up realizing things about myself and being like, no, that wasn't it. But that led to something that, you know what I mean? Like, so you just got to try.
Taste.
You just got to try stuff, man.
Yeah.
You just got to try stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and then when you find something that you like, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know?
Yeah, my problem... Okay, I'll tell you my problem, right? Like, my problem is... So, when I was diagnosed with ADHD PI, if we're being specific, which is primarily...
ADHD PI 12986X.
Yeah, so...
Beta section.
Attention deficit hyperactive disorder, primarily inattentive. That's the full diagnosis I have.
Yeah.
And when they diagnosed me with that, they also added on top of it, because I talked a lot about my obsessive nature, which is like, there's periods of time where I will be obsessed with something, where it's all I want to do. Nothing else means anything to me. I will fucking sacrifice time, whatever the fuck, like anything to do that thing, whether it's boxing, whether it's fucking Rubik's Cube solving, whether it's fucking
board
games, any fucking thing. I'll
EVE
wake
Online.
up.
What was that space? The space. Friggin' space. Space Station 14.
Don't get me started on Space Station 13. Holy
13.
fuck. Yeah, okay.
Dude, Space Station 14 is the next one.
In fucking lockdown, bro, I played like 16-hour days of that game. Oh man, gosh, it was great. Yeah. It was, again, memories, man. But anyway, the point is that, like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night just like fucking wanting to do this thing, right? So what they said to that is, like, there's comorbidities, a lot of, like, ADHD has a lot of comorbidity potential, or whatever you want to call it. And there's certain traits of autism that I seem to exhibit, right? And so that's been my biggest struggle, was like, there's certain times where I don't want to do the things I like or love, because I'm obsessed with this new thing. And so how do I, like, you know, how do I balance that? Because it's like, I could find the thing that I love, but then all of a sudden 2 months later I hate it. Or like, I don't hate it, but it's like the thing that I'm obsessed at that time takes so much priority that I don't want to do anything else. So that's why I think this podcast, like, I didn't want to make it for magicians and have to talk strictly magic. Firstly, because it's such a small niche. Who the fuck listens? Like, how many magicians are listening to, like, you know what I mean? There's not that many magicians that are like super into technical podcasts about magic.
Not yet.
One. And two, it limits me. It limits me to doing one thing, right? And so finding something that can sort of be in congruence with the sort of trait that I seem to have, where I get obsessed with stuff, that obsession is actually a bonus, because I tend to get good at things really fast. And so, you know what I mean? Like, if my whole thing is talking about things, showing things, like discussing things that I really, really enjoy, then I can add that into the, you know what I mean? So it's finding things 100%. That align with the things that you, or the way you are as a person. I mean, I wanted to be coming out of high school, I wanted to be a fucking doctor. Yeah. Worst idea of my life, right? I only knew that once I went to uni and realized I fucking hate my life.
6 months.
Yeah. I paid, whatever,
outside.
10 grand trying to fucking, finish a semester, and I was like, nope, I failed every paper. That's fine. I'm just going to drop out. Yeah, right. But like, I needed to do that to figure that out, right? And so people are so scared of taking risks, and they think that like once they took something, they've invested so much that they need to like double down on it.
Yeah.
And then I've talked to
cost fallacy. Yeah.
I've talked to fucking medical students 4 years in that I hate it, but I'm too deep.
Dude, so like this one thing that I've like found through moving to the UK and being more like deep in the EA effective altruism space is like it's crazy how different the perspective can be. Like there are some people who like 4 years into or like 3 years into some degree and they're like, oh, well, I've like talked to these certain people and like I realize that AI is like a potentially really huge problem. And like if it's a problem, then like it screws up the whole of humanity. And like, well, I'm just gonna switch. Like 3 years into like some law degree and then just like I'm gonna do comp sci now.
Right.
And it's just like it's really wild, right? Like it's this completely different experience and perspective that I've had like of people being like, oh well, like I don't know, it's in a way it's kind of different to what we've been talking about, right? Like it's less like a life satisfaction thing and it's more of like a like what's gonna like
impact the world.
Yeah, impact the world, which like in turn is like a life satisfaction thing as well, right?
Which is interesting because I've sort of resigned myself to the idea that like I don't really have much impact. There's not fucking any way, like you know what I mean? Like there's like realistically, how much can I change? Like that's why I'm not such a like activist or like when I hear like socialists talk about, it's like, can you really though? Can you really solve this problem?
I think it's a really difficult question, right? I think there's this like framework which you can consider, which is that like you're trying to fill up a bucket and this bucket is like the thing that is going to like have an impact, quote unquote. And this bucket is like everyone who contributes to this bucket is a drop. But like the bucket's not going to fill up without every single drop. And every single drop is what contributes to the bucket. And there's one drop that makes it overflow. And like mean the bucket's like full and reached its goal or whatever. And this is one of the things that I've like considered that in some way has like helped me deal with like imposter syndrome as well, is that like, and like we had like a team retreat for our organization, the Center for Effective Altruism, like a month or so ago. And like I was talking about, I don't feel qualified for the thing that I'm doing. Like I'm like trying to impact the world and like improve the world, but like I'm not an expert on like how to run conferences or like how to like help people like figure out how it's best to like deal with existential threats to humanity. Like I don't know. Like I'm just a guy. And like I'm a guy that's like passionate about like doing this and like trying to like make the world put the world in the best place that it can be for the long-term future for humanity. But like who's an expert on that, you know?
Right.
And like I'm just like doing a little part that I can to do that. And like I guess like to meta this is like it seems like on the whole this is like distinct for us too, right? Like I'm trying to do this thing that's like directly impacting here, but like it's not necessarily the case like that this is like not an avenue for other people as well in the things that they're doing. And like for example, I don't have like a lot of viewers. I don't have 50k subscribers on YouTube or like whatever, and like I'm not good at like magic or like these other things that you're good at. And there's like just like we all have leverage in a certain way. And like it depends on what we're going for. And like at the end of the day, what we're going for is a satisfying and fulfilling life.
Yeah.
And we all have different values on like what that means. And like,
but I think that almost has to be center because as I said, I tried to chase the meaning.
Yeah.
And if there's no satisfaction personally, like I almost, I think I'm having less impact than you are, right? In the sense that like, let's say I teach a jiu-jitsu class and I help one white belt with one specific move. Right? Now, I know how much value jiu-jitsu has brought to my life. So maybe in some weird way, I'm bringing that value to someone else.
Yeah.
But that's one fucking person. You know what I mean? Or like that's 3 people or whatever the fuck.
So like just to like quickly interject here is like, I think we live in a world of such uncertainty we live in a world of such uncertainty that you can't calculate always the second and third and fourth and fifth effect, like order effects of your actions. And so, like, for example, when I started jujitsu, like jujitsu had also a big part to play in like my life, where I felt I had a place to like feel safe with embodying like trying to do self-defense and like fight and also like work out and all this stuff. And like obviously I'm not God, like I'm not an omniscient being where like I can see all of the pathways of life, but like it's possible that without me having gone to jiu-jitsu and having met Maddie or something, who's like the best, like most helpful, like
pound for pound best sub-only guy in New Zealand. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, good old Maddie. Like without having met him, like it's not clear that I would still be on the same path that I'm on, right? And so like you can't say that like, oh, like, you know, I taught this one white belt and like I got him, like it doesn't even need to be like I got him to blue belt, but like I got him to like keep coming to classes because I was like, oh yeah, you've got this one good thing going for you. You should like double down on that. Yeah. That then they're not gonna like continue on and like this like they shape their life around this, and then they like that gives them a discipline tool that they end up using in another avenue.
That's true. I mean,
and so there are so many indirect paths to impact.
Yeah.
That I think like, so to take this maybe slightly spiritually is like, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking on the spot here, and this is like a non-rational perspective for any rationalists who might end up listening to this. Like, each person is a point, or like a node, or like a contribution to the universe, or something. And this person can only like live their life in a certain way. And this is coming back to what we've been talking about, is like if this person you can consider as like a container or a ball or something, and they can only like fill up their ball in a way which is essentially, I'm living my life in a way that feels the most meaningful to me, having considered all of the like options and like possible pathways that I can, that like are sustainable and meaningful to me, and like having an impact and like can actually give me a way to live life like monetarily or whatever, and like these kind of like ikigai concepts. Each person is a piece of the puzzle, and it's highly possible that people who are just doing their thing, and they're doing their thing in a way that brings them meaning to life, affects their wider circle and all of the people that they influence in a way that actually activates those people in another way. So like maybe a analogy here is like this concept,
the butterfly effect sort of thing.
Yeah, similar to the butterfly effect. Like I often get this metaphor in my head, is that like each person is like a candle, right? And like one candle, I think there's a Buddha quote here somewhere, which is like one candle can light 1,000 more. Like there's no limit to how many candles you can light if you've got a fire. And one person lighting one person's candle in some way can just activate them in like a completely new way. And it's like, I think so what I think I'm trying to say here is like that there's some like rule or type of way type of way of acting in the world where like meaning and like critically considered actions are paramount in impact, even if they are orders away from the impact itself.
Right.
That like if this person is living their life to their fullest extent, to their best possible knowledge, is the way to improve
Impact
the world,
right,
or
right,
something.
right. Yeah.
And
Which
like
is
maybe
funny
that's I mean that's kind of like the steel man or something, like the most charitable argument that I
Right.
can make. And like I would be interested to discuss this in the future at some point with like hardcore rationalists, or like this is like a probably somewhat anti-EA view
Right.
as well.
Mm.
Because EA is like, you should like consider the world's most pressing problems. You should like potentially self-sacrifice like to like do these things because they are like the most useful for the
Optimal.
long-term future of humanity. Yeah, most optimal. And I think like that is true, but that's not necessarily mutually exclusive from other things.
Right.
Um,
Which is funny though, because you own like in a day-to-day sort of view, to bring it down like to a pragmatic level, like you own, like, for example, okay, I teach a jiu-jitsu class. What happened to me like literally last week. I taught like a whole class on body lock, one class on the body lock, which I'm like, it's my best shit, right? And then like a week goes by, and I roll with this white belt, and he gets to the position, and he does the move perfectly. I'm sitting in bottom half guard. He like drives his hips across. I'm actually playing half butterfly for anyone that knows what I'm talking about. And he back steps off my half butterfly hook because he's neutralized my hip, so I can't actually elevate with that hip. And then he just fucking passes my guard with the exact move I taught. And I'm like,
Right.
holy fuck. I couldn't stop that. And I taught this fucking move. And then he goes, yeah, I learned that from you. And so that, like, you know, that's like, holy shit, like that's satisfying.
Wait, is that in the same session or like
no, like a
down the
week
line?
later,
Yeah, right.
which is even crazier because it means he retained that information. Like,
Wow.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy fuck, like it validated my sort of my work, right? It validated what I did in that moment. So it's hard to see how that sort of cascades further, right? It's like from a day-to-day point of view, it's like, oh, okay, cool. He learned how to backstep off the half guard hook. Cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, yeah, it could potentially mean that he ends up fucking, you know, either continuing with jiu-jitsu and being really fucking good, and that was like sort of a springboard to him learning the whole half guard passing game, and then he ends up really, really fucking good. Or maybe he just uses the jiu-jitsu as like a way to, you know, sort of influence other aspects of his life, or just get fit, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Or maybe his confidence the way it did for me. And so, yeah, like it's really hard to see that though. You know what I mean? Like in your day-to-day. And so sometimes I think it's just like hard. Like that's probably why I still have imposter syndrome a lot, because it's hard to really, you know, like kind of extrapolate from that, because all you get to see is those little pieces of small feedback.
Yeah.
But I think that's true because, you know, for example, for me, like it did impact me in a huge way, and like my confidence is much higher, and like, you know, without that sort of confidence, I think I would have probably been a completely different person. And so that might have not translated to confidence in magic. That might have not translated to confidence in being able to put out content and not give a fuck what people think, which is kind of a prerequisite to being a content creator, because people are going to have opinions, and you might not like those opinions, but that's fine, because everyone is entitled to an opinion, and whether or not it offends me is not for me to, like, it's for me to decide, but it's not for me to, like, it's not really for me to read or to take to heart, you know? Yeah, it's just, I think it's hard to put in practice, that sort of view though. Like, you know, it's like, it's a good overlying worldview. And I think it's like probably a good, like, sort of metric to sort of, like, am I happy and am I impacting people? But I think in your day to day, it's hard. It's really easy to lose sight of that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, to get on something more low key, not so deep.
Just before we
Yeah,
we go for the shallow end, while we're in this depth of like meaning and impact and all the rest of it, and like I guess like state my default position, which is like currently my main concern for like the future of humanity is artificial intelligence and like pandemics or something, and like maybe global war or something. But if anyone listening to this is like thinking about like, you know, what can I do with my life that's the most meaningful? what can I do that's like useful, and like they don't have a clear sense. And obviously this is maybe the wrong kind of audience, but
I don't think so. I think meaning is a fucking universal human
sure
problem.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think it's like start with considering what is it that brings you meaning, and also like look further as like over the course of your whole life. Like try to think to when you're like 80 years old, 90 years old, like what is going to be a meaningful life for you. And if like there might be a small percentage of people listen to this that are like, yeah, I don't really know. I'm like skilled in like software, or like I care about like, I don't know, biology stuff or something. And they're like looking for something to look into that might be meaningful. I've personally found the most meaning of my life to come through like pursuing, trying to bring the most good to the most people. And I think that like over like right now and also for the long-term future of humanity, and like just even considering the concept of like how might I be able to influence the future of humanity is like an important step to take. And like currently it seems like preventing an AI from developing that wants to like kill everyone, or like an AI that someone can use in a nefarious way, seems to be the thing that might help the most people in the future. Like there's all these movies and shit.
How the fuck though? How the fuck? Because okay, atomic bomb,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Technology gets
Yeah.
developed.
Yeah.
First thing it's used for,
Yeah.
right?
War.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the most profitable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I think like I'm gonna like say that I don't have a good answer to this question.
Yeah.
And like I think the only way, like I'm not an AI expert, and like I'm continuously like learning about this and like shifting my timelines and stuff, and like maybe 15 years.
I will
you know?
not preface, but I will also state that like I'm a fucking idiot, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, you know, both China and the US have publicly stated they are developing AI for warfare.
Yeah.
Like in drone technology and all this other shit. So it's like, well,
And
what can you do? What the fuck can you do?
I totally agree, and I don't know, what I'm doing. Like, well, the thing that I'm doing is trying to get people who do know what the fuck they're doing to come together at a conference and like talk about it and try to figure out what the fuck we're doing, because the real answer is that nobody knows how to do this, and we just like, we need to figure it out, because if we don't, we're fucked.
All right, so what I'm doing, right? What I'm doing is I'm shuffling cards. that's my solution to this problem. Just ignore the problem. just do your overhand shuffles, do your riffle shuffles. Maybe do a second deal if you get to that level. Hey, look, and then hope for the fucking best. And if you die in a fire, then at the end of the day, you can do a double lift.
Yeah. Yeet. Podcast end.
That's my solution. See, that's what I'm saying when I talk about like I try to bring meaning. There's nothing to bring, so I just try to do cool shit. That's at the end of the day. But I really fucking admire people that can, or at least enjoy your aspect of this stuff. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's like for me, it's also hard to square, right? Because like I also love going to festivals and I love raving to hardstyle, and like that is like zero impact. You know, like I'm just there, I'm having a good time, I'm enjoying my life, and like this is like. You just get to do that like day in, day out. I don't get to go to a hardstyle festival every day and like enjoy myself, you know. And like I get meaning from my job, but like it's different. And so I think just like I think that the aspect of trying and like doing what we can is the key. And like whether or not that feels aligned with the impact. Like I also think like, you know, there are just people that don't care about impact, and like that's fine. Like I can't judge their perspective on the world because like they care about like living a meaningful life by connecting with family. Like sure. Like there are like, you know, you can get deep into the weeds on like arguments like, well, if you care about your family, like do you care about like people who are outside of your family and like people who aren't alive yet, blah, 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 blah. But like, you know, this is this whole like rabbit hole of like EA.
And we'll go on record and say this right now. I don't give a flying fuck about anyone who's not alive. I mean, I guess you could argue like future generations or whatnot, but like honestly, like as far as like what feels intuitive to me, it's like, man, they're not even fucking here, bro. You know, like I spent a long fucking part of my life being like, I sort of kind of wish I wasn't alive.
Right.
You know, like it's not like I wanted to die, but it's almost like life was so much. It was so hard.
If you weren't brought into the world or something.
It would have. You know, it was like so much of my life was suffering that it was almost like, is it even worth? You know, is it worth doing this? I mean, now getting to where I'm now, it's like, yeah, it was definitely worth it.
And I think for some people, like, you know, in non-privileged places like we are, like
100%.
Maybe for some people it's just not, like, just, you know, they're like,
it's a very hard ask.
My life was shit, and then they die from malaria or something.
It's a very hard ask for someone that like can barely eat. Yeah. To be like, oh, you should think about the good impact. And it's like, bro, just fucking, you know, give me some heat and give me some food. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Lots of open questions, and like maybe that's another podcast for the future on like the depth of philosophy of something that I'm not even like qualified to talk about or whatever. But anyway, I think like at the end of the day, I think like we are humans that have like a multi-dimensional experience, you know, like we have so many different things that we care about, that we enjoy, that we get satisfaction through, and like we're beings here that like are experiencing like sensations, and like we have to like eat and like drink water, and like these all like, you know, being alive is fucking complex. And like at the end of the day, we just gotta go on like the best thing that we can like figure out, and try and like do our best, whatever that means, in what we're doing. And I think one of my perspectives is just showing up. You know, like for me, one consistent thing.
Do the fucking work.
Yeah.
Stephen Pressfield, War of Art.
Yeah.
Do the fucking work.
Just show just show up.
Yeah.
You know, show up to the gym.
Yeah.
Show up in the morning to your meditation mat. Show up.
I don't do enough of that.
Show up to your cold shower.
No fucking way.
But you know, like, just like, especially if you're young, just do the thing.
Yeah.
And see where it goes. If you don't like it, switch. Like, life is full of two-way doors. You can go in, you can come out. Like, just taste, try and figure it out, and like, you know, do your best, whatever that means, and like, be like humble, be like caring for yourself. You can't help others if you can't help yourself, you know. And at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter, because we're just here for a short ride anyway.
We're just fucking meat vehicles, boy. Yeah. We're just out here, consciousnesses
in meat bags.
In meat bags, just riding around, trying to figure it out.
This video that comes up for me is the Kurzgesagt in a nutshell channel.
Oh yeah.
The egg. I really like that video.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like it kind of encapsulates more or less my like philosophy on life or something. That it's just like we're just like all the same thing, trying to do a thing, and like there's so much more to the universe than we know, and we're just living it. And I don't know. I guess like on a personal note, I'm just living it and keen to see where it goes. And on a more personal note, I'm grateful that a lot of it has been with you, and like that we get to do this thing.
Fuck yeah, boy.
Yeah.
It's what we do. It's what we're out here to do. And yeah, I mean, you summarized it perfectly.
Yeah.
So, shot for coming.
Yeah.
Shot for being, you know, you. And like, yeah, I mean, you know, there's that saying like, you are the people you hang out with, right? So there's a lot of things that I envied about you growing up. You know, there's a lot of things that I couldn't be that you are like very innate at. But you sort of, you were able to, in your own way, influence me in certain ways that I think if I didn't hang out with you, I wouldn't be who I am today, So it's been a good ride, and I'll see you next year, my fucking UK fucking traitor. But yeah.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, that means a lot. And same goes for you, man. Like it's been a wild ride. We've done a lot.
Yeah.
And we've been on a lot of ups and downs together.
Fuck yeah.
And like you're a big part of my life, and I'm hoping that it stays that way.
All right, and that's a fucking wrap. I don't think I can add anything to that. And subscribe and do all the shit. And
like and subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Give us
donate
some money,
to the
boy.
Patreon,
give us some fucking
or whatever
money.
the current platform is in the future.
No, actually don't, because we need to put out more content. Because I don't believe in getting money for nothing. So I believe that you should earn everything, and that if the content's good, then all the rest will come with it. And I just enjoy doing this shit. So
yeah, man. Me too.
Cool, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Sweet. That's a wrap.
Nice.
GG.
Damn. That was a podcast. What the fuck did we just do?
Fucking potty, boy.
What? Woo! Woo!
I
Shit.
totally forgot, but you can have this thing.